All right, and welcome to another episode of Emergency Meeting. How much better is it? Is that the way you say it? How much better? How better is it when we win to have these emergency meetings? We just beat Essendon. Well, I think there's a lot to talk about tonight. A lot to talk about. What do you reckon, guys? Yeah, it wasn't the best win. It was a bit scrappy. What do you reckon? It was a bit scrappy. Bottom of the ladder. We only win by 5 points. But like I was saying on the live stream, I'd rather win and learn a lesson than lose and learn a lesson. So to me, I'll take the 4 points and we just move on. We go into the bye and we move on. There's a lot to talk about tonight because it was interesting. It was really a poor first half, really poor. That was really, really poor, that first half. And, the third quarter got a bit better. I still felt like we were rushing, just missing targets. I think we went away from what we were doing, especially last week. We kind of got back to some sort of game plan, and we took it away. And in the last quarter, it got scrappy. We won by 5 points, but we did what we had to do. I'm taking the 4 points, 4 wins, go into the bye. I'm happy. Let's, before we go, everyone, mate, thank you very much for Top Dog Liquor. Hey, you want your liquor? You go down to see Top Dog because he's tough. He's strong, and his liquors, mate, get straight to you. And if you want to know what Top Dog Liquor's about, I'll give it to you. This is what Top Dog Liquor's about.
Top Dog Liquor, boozy and bold. Top Dog Liquor, boozy and bold. Top deals, top booze. We have everything you choose. Iron Bar, Keys, Coach, Strathdale, White Hills. Top Dog Liquor. Get a little punch.
Get a little punch. I love that. So make sure you get down there. Probably get to see Lyndon Hosking. He'll probably try to jump on. So let's get some people straight in. We got one of the OGs. We got Peter V. How are we, mate? How's things? You're at the game.
Man. Pretty good. Yes, I sure was, mate. I sure was. I was happy with the 4 points, but I was more relieved because this reminded me of that Western Bulldogs game where we played that Voss ball, but that's crappy. But sure, we took it at the end. I think the point was in that last 2 minutes of that third quarter. The first time in the game we kicked 2 goals, 2 consecutive goals. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, I think we're going to take this game. But I thought, it's going to be close. Look, I said at the start, I got this on paper stuff, probably 35 points, whatever. But I'll take the win. But there's a lot more, mate. I was hoping if they play like against Geelong, we could have won by a lot more, but it wasn't to be.
I totally agree with you. And I'll just say this, what I've been saying. Listen, people have been saying 40 points, 60 points, 100 points. What makes you think we're that side? We haven't been that side. We were 1-8. We got rid of a coach. What makes you think we can beat sides by 60 points, man? We're still at the bottom, and just to take the 4 points, I'm happy with it at the moment. I'm just happy with it.
No, it's fair enough, man. I'm just thinking if we play like we play against Geelong in that second half, we could have probably had a few more goals. I mean, also we had chances that we could have even, if we took, even Essendon, mate, they were actually more. It was probably it's not the least worst actually won this game. The least worst. To be honest with you, mate.
You know what? That's a good way of putting it, mate. Yeah, we were the best of the worst, and we ended up taking the points, man.
I think one thing I know. Yep, sorry.
Go. Tell me.
I was going. One thing that other teams will focus on is Sam Walsh is going to get heavily tagged in the next few weeks, and this is where the onus of someone like Jagger Smith and etc. have to really stand up. Especially against GWS, which it's going to be a tough game. I just want them to play like they played in that fourth quarter against Geelong, just for another quarter. Again, I know people out there, we're going to win bloody 10 games, 2023. Well, if that was the case, then we should have been Essendon by Yeah, 10 goals, but obviously there's no evidence of that anyways.
Exactly. I'm gonna bring David into the David.
All
How
right,
are you,
cheers.
mate? All the way from Perth.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you.
How you going? How was that? What did you think of that?
I think the fans need to buy more than anyone else at the moment. We are struggling after that game. I mean, that was one that everyone thought it would be an easy win, and I reckon if you watch Foxtel tonight and look at the AFL highlights mini for that game, it'll be like 3 minutes long. That was a horrible game to watch. Both teams should be fine. Both teams should be fine for bringing the game into disrepute. That was a horrible display of football. But anyway,
especially that first half, especially by us in that first half, that was probably the worst half I've seen for a long time. Essendon showed us up in that first half. I have to admit it. They were playing what we wanted to do, and they were executing it better than what we were. So look, it was terrible. But again, sometimes you just have to win. When we can't be sitting around thinking that we should be beating teams by 100 points. Mate, 4 weeks ago, we had no coach. We just sacked our coach. We were 1-8, so I'm happy to take that win, go into the bye and see what we do against GWS. That's it. That's all.
Oh, of course. But they definitely looked like they were playing like they were looking forward to having a week off.
Yeah, you're probably right. They were.
I think the arrogance kind of showed in that first quarter, the first 5 minutes as well. If you look at the first half, we only had less than 20 tackles. And how many of them would have been missed as well?
Did you know in the first half we had 16 tackles? I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that is.
And how many would have been missed as well?
Yeah, 100%. They were missing tackles. They were missing targets, missing goals. They were terrible in that first half. That was shocking, man. And we looked like a bottom four side. In the second half, I mean, it was a little bit better. We did what we had to do. We beat the scum. They can get stuffed. You know what I mean? And that's all there is to it, man. I'm happy that we beat them. Lone Wolf, thanks for the $5. Thought I'd see Mark from Forever Rivals. We Want Heard. I saw that in the crowd. There was a few people with We Want Heard. Mate, you've got to do a lot more than get heard. And then we got so the guy who runs the clock from the AFL is Mike Hunt. Yes.
Can I say one thing? Never interrupted enemy when they're about to do something stupid, like as you mentioned right now. Just put that out there.
Look, at the end of the day, with the clock, it was just a visual thing. The clock wasn't running down on the screen, but it actually was running down, and they fixed it. So that was it. Because I got a bit shocked. They moved the ball over, and we looked at it. We go, "What? Still 44 seconds? What do you mean?" You know what I mean? And then it went down to 22. So it's all good. Don't worry. Another bit of controversy for the week.
Harry showing smarts on the field. That's something we haven't seen for a while. So fantastic.
Yeah. So they talked about that too, and I thought that was great by Harry. I don't care what anyone says. That's what you do. Anytime you can take 30 seconds off the clock and you're anywhere near the 50, you do it, and that's it, man. And that's exactly what he did. And I thought that, I don't know if it won us the game, but it definitely made it easier when it went back to that last centre bounce and there's only 9 seconds to go. That definitely helped. We're going to bring in this man, Lyndon, all the way from Top Dog Liquor. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Really good. Geez, a bit like you guys, the old heart's sort of pumping a little bit, but we got there in the end, didn't we?
That's it. I agree, man. That's all we needed to do was get those 4 points for now. I was saying to the boys, I don't know if you heard me, but people going 50 points, 100 points, 60 points. What evidence that we're that sort of side at the moment? We're not. You know what I mean? Like, we're not that side just to go and beat. We are just above Essendon. Maybe they're a bottom 4 and we're maybe bottom 6, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it was tough, and they came out, mate. They looked all right in the first half, man. I'll give them credit in that first half.
Yeah, I think people forget that it's not that like Essendon's on the bottom of the ladder. It's not like we're up the top anywhere. We're down there with them, and it's been great to get 3 wins in a row. It's been awesome. But don't forget that we're down there with the Bombers. So look, I must admit, and I think we spoke about it on the show during the week. I just had a knot in my stomach right before the game. I had this gut feeling that it was going to go the way that it did, and I must admit, once was probably about halfway through the second quarter, I had to take a spell. I had to take a time out and go watch something else because it was just like it was so frustrating and everything that my worst fears leading up to the game looked like they were going to be realised, and I just had a knot in my stomach right until the last probably a few minutes, and thanks to Harry Mackay and maybe a few time clock issues, we were able to kill some time. But look, I think it's just one of those games where you win this one and you look good next time. That's what you have in sports sometimes. Don't worry about how you look and how it's done. Just get the 4 points and move on. So that's all you can do.
Yeah, I agree.
Rocco, do you think we're a bit flat because of the amount of effort we put into last week's game? It was an emotional and a physical encounter that just sapped us a bit, and we just seemed to come out really flat today. Energy levels, decision making, our fundamentals were horrible tonight, and I just think last week took it out of us. And knowing that we had a bye coming out, we just weren't primed and ready to go.
I agree. We looked flat. They looked up and about. They were ready to go. We looked a bit flat. I think I was saying this on one of the shows. I was saying it's the first time since Richmond that we are the favourites. Like, way our favourites, and how are we going to handle this? I mean, you got to remember where we are. Like I thought we came out, you're right, a little bit flat. I thought we were a little bit overconfident. But, man, they did well in that second half. They did okay in that second half. But some of the leaders stepped up. I was really happy with Cripper in the last quarter. I thought McGovern was big in the second half. He took some big marks. Harry stood up all game. I thought Jagger Smith stood up in that last quarter. There was a couple little efforts, So that's all
Ainsworth. Ainsworth. Benny's worth it, mate. Benny's worth it. Oh, yeah.
I like it. Yeah, 100%.
McGovern was missing in the first half. He was.
Yeah,
I thought he
was terrible.
Shopping for frilly knickers on the internet or something. He was horrible.
Well, who was good in the first half? I thought the only player who kind of held up his head was Chera. Yeah,
Harry Dean.
Yeah,
Harry Dean. Yeah,
yep.
Harry Dean was good. But apart from that, no one else. And then they all stood up in that last half.
Jagger Smith was trying his guts out.
Yeah. I think they're going to learn a lot from today, and they'll be ready for it next week. But I think Peter was right when he said relief. At the end, it was just relief that we got the 4 points, and let's move on, man. I don't even want to watch that game anymore.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so listen, it was terrible. There was some terrible bits of play that made me cringe. Trust me, Lyndon, I was doing the stream with Bo. I wanted to walk off too and just say, I don't want to watch this. This is terrible, but
it was tough to watch, wasn't it? But I mean, sometimes you just got to battle through, and you could tell in the first couple of minutes that they weren't switched on, and Essendon had come to play, and no doubt that Dean Solomon, I mean, he probably talked it down a little bit in the lead up, but he would have been behind closed doors saying we've got a opportunity against these guys and ramming up. I remember he was around during the real rivalry period between the sides, so he would have been getting into him. Probably not so much Josh Fraser, and maybe they rose to the occasion a little bit, and we just couldn't do it. But I just think, last week would have taken a lot out of him, no doubt. And I know the professional athletes and they're supposed to back up each week, but yet for that first couple of minutes, you could tell they were just a bit flat. And it took them a while to get going. But, hey, they did what a good side does, and that is look bad and find a way to win. And that's something we haven't been able to do over the last few years. So I'll take it. I don't care whether it's 1 point, 2 points, 100 points. Just take the win and move on. And they've got the bye now and then GWS, and they can regroup for that one.
I agree, man. I don't think we're in a position where we should be upset about that. We're in no position. Let's just take it. 4 weeks ago, again, we were 1-8 and we didn't have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should just take that and move on and learn a lesson from it.
It's not like Richmond either, mate, where we really battled through that. And I think most people were more angry in that one rather than glad. I think tonight was just one of those games where, okay, we didn't play well. It's not like we sort of just rolled over like we did against Richmond and just hung on. I mean, credit to Essendon. I hate to give them credit because I hate them more than any club. I mean, you got to give them a little bit of credit for having a little bit of pride in the jumper and stepping up. But again, we did what a good side is supposed to do, withhold the challenge and get the 4 points, and that's what we did. So can't argue with that.
And
there was a passage.
Yeah,
sorry, there was a passage of play that I saw that Hayward was playing tight against his man. It was about on the 50-metre line. It went to a contest. The ball got out of the contest. Hayward's man continued running at the ball. Hayward just stopped, and Hayward's player got the ball back, impacted the game. The ball went down the other end. They scored it, and it was just because Hayward just didn't disengage from his player. And it was just one of those typical examples from us tonight. There were Haynes when he couldn't hit a guy on the chest from 20 meters away.
Yep.
All these little fundamental skills where their mindset was not into the game. And I think when we start talking about fundamentals, I think the fundamentals failed tonight purely because we weren't switched on. And it showed. So we couldn't hit marks. We couldn't take marks. We couldn't hit guys on the chest. Our tackling was atrocious in the first half. The number of times, especially in the back line, we just let them go. And I think it's just purely mindset that was what it's all about. And so that's something that we were just limping towards the bye, perhaps. But it's a concern for me.
Yep. And
I think we had one. I think we had one great play, but bloody Kev Shankton, mate, the transition goal. It should have been, the transition play. Bloody Kev. Look, I'm not saying it's a total fraud, but he should have bloody sank that one in, like he did 5 minutes prior.
There's plenty, and Kemp really kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah, he did, but that one stood out for me. That one stood out. No offense, mate.
And thank God, I agree. I reckon Akers had another good game, and look, he does mistakes too. But again, his gut running, I think he's been important in the last 2 weeks. He's been good, but there were a couple of mistakes. I mean, Cripper when he went for the goal in that first half, and it was a nothing kick landed. When Mackay gets to 50-metre and then decides to play on, gets to 50, misses the goal, man. What happened to just relaxing, wait for the lead? We weren't doing what we were doing last week, and I don't know what happened, So, but again, I'm just relieved we beat Essendon. I don't care, man. I really don't care this week, man. Imagine losing to this mob.
Oh my God!
Imagine losing, and it would have taken away all the work we've done in the last few weeks.
Can I just raise my concern with Pitto? Since he had the broken hand or whatever he had in that concern, his form has been really, really poor since then, and he's really, it's really costing us in those centres and across the ground. He's not offering any forward pressure. He's not kicking goals. His whole form at the moment is a real concern, and I'm not quite sure what their expectations of him are, but he's letting us down at the moment.
Lucky for Harry. Harry's been good in the rough. On the ground, he's been really good. But you're right. But I thought Pitto did okay in the last quarter. I thought he stood up a little bit in the last quarter. He started to use his body around the ground and that, which I thought. But you're right. He hasn't been what he was in that first part of the season when he was probably our best player. So I've
got to get off, guys. I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you to it. Just got to get off, anyways, mate. See you, mate.
100%, mate.
It's time to go!
And we got a quick replacement with Aiden. He just jumped straight into it. He sent me a message, Aiden. What did you send me?
No, I'm actually in a better mood now.
Oh, good. Because you wrote me a message. He goes, I'm not happy. And I said, you're never happy, Aiden. But yeah. I can understand, man. It was a bit of a disappointment. Did you go to the game?
I went to the game, but I had to leave at halftime because my phone died. So what an idiot.
So you left because your phone died?
Yeah.
That's the modern society now. If your phone doesn't work, you leave to find a charger. But what did you think of the game? You would have left first half. You would have thought, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, like I was so tempted to grab my seat and throw it somewhere, like just rip it in half. Like I was so, but I couldn't because there were kids around and my dad normally sits
Yeah,
around,
naturally, yeah.
around and just relax a bit. I mean, it's very, it's very hard not to. But I mean, look, that first quarter it was deplorable. Like the way
First
that
half was really.
like we rocked up thinking that we've already won the game, and that was the biggest fear that I had coming into it. That you can't think like that heading into a massive, rival game against one of your biggest rivals in Essendon, where they've had a lot of shit going on with them over the last week or two. I mean, well, it turns out that there's people that do. So I'm never gonna. But now on, I'm just gonna make sure to charge my phone for the game and.
So you left the game because your phone went flat.
Yeah.
That's the generation we live in, guys.
Exactly, man. If your phone, the first thing,
to give a bit of context, I mean, I normally get picked up from the station. So again, that's why I had to sort of leave early to a point. But
that's all good. You can leave if you
want.
But you did you watch it at least the second half?
I mean, I watched the fourth quarter. I didn't watch the third quarter. I don't know. Like normally, I drive to the station and all that. But this one time, I couldn't. Like, fuck me. But anyway, Anyway, I mean, Look, it was a tough first half. I thought that we were probably going to lose. I think we all did. How we played, it wasn't great at all. Like our midfield was atrocious. It was absolutely atrocious. All of them. And again, I think Dirksen, he was out of his depth a little bit because again, like what more do you expect of him to do? Like I had a very good view of him and Ben Mackay, and Mackay towered over him.
Yeah,
like height wise. So again, the people that want to trade Wiedering, hopefully this is a great example. Like tonight is a massive indicator as to why we shouldn't. Like I don't care if we get offered three top 10 round picks for him. I'm not getting rid of him because you see the repercussions that happen when he isn't there. Now, I get it. We bet Port Adelaide without him. Fair enough. But you're going to have games where you have a Port Adelaide and you're going to have games where you have an Essendon without him being there. But
I think Cowan, after several very good games, really was struggling tonight for whatever reason, whether it was the matchup or whatever it was. But he made some fundamental errors as well in his display, and so I wasn't sure what was going on with him. But that didn't help our cause at all.
No, that turnover. I think with 5 minutes left to go, I'm like, what are you doing? Just kick along.
The handball.
Yeah, the handball to Walsh, and then Walsh fluffed it up, and then
I almost
kicked the ball out of it.
I almost had a heart attack. When I seen that, I freaked out. Go back and watch me, man. I freaked out. I couldn't believe it. Why handball to watch? Just because Walsh is running past doesn't mean you have to give it to him. There should have been a little bit more composure there. But later on, a few minutes later, he takes the mark. He settles. He goes back and he takes the kick. So he learned from it. There were plenty of those little mistakes. I think we all panicked. I don't know what was going on because that was nothing like last week. There was nothing like last week.
I think that Essendon were always going to turn up for this game. I think everyone knew that. Yeah. I didn't think at one point that we were going to win by 10 to 15 goals. No way. Like I was always nervous coming into this game. I even tipped Essendon. That's how negative I was about tonight.
Far out.
But again, I mean, I don't know what happened in that first half. Like, I don't know, like whether they woke up thinking, like we've already got the game won. If they thought that, then I mean,
I think they did. I think they went in, and I think I always say that the supporters kind of reflect how the team feels. The supporters are going in saying we're going to win by 50, 60 points, and that because of the win last week. That was a great win last week, but I was always worried that we were going to go in with that mindset, and it looks like we did. And you could see they showed the coach in the box, and you could see he was frustrated. He was shaking his head like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And when they interviewed him at halftime, he said, we just got to get back to the fundamentals of what we were doing, And I think they did somewhat in that third quarter and definitely in the last quarter. So you can't ask for more than that. You can't ask for more than that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think
They
about
won the game. They won the
I know.
game. And I think when you've got a team that's got such a mix of experience and youth, and I mean, you're going to have performances where you're up and down. They're going to have a Geelong performance, and then you're going to have an Essendon performance. It's just where we're at. And
Exactly.
it's, you know, as I said, you got the mix of the Cripps and Wiederings and all these types of guys and Walshes who are experienced guys. Then you got the Deans and Smiths and Cowans coming through as well. You can't. It's just that mix at the moment where it's just going to take time. And you know, I think most of the supporters out there just be in the position, or the same thing as where we just want to get wins. And as I said before, good sides just get wins and they just rack them up. Some are good, some are bad, some are in between. I don't think we're in a position to be sort of critiquing our wins that much. Let's just take it and, you know, just put the wins on the board and see what happens.
100%. What proof? I said this on the stream when we were watching it live. I said, what proof has anyone got that we were going to win by 10 goals? Like, what have we done this year to show that we can win by 10 goals? We've done nothing. We beat Geelong, which was a great win. The other two wins were good wins. We beat, I think, Port by like 30 points or something. So we're halfway there. But what makes you think we're just going to go out and smash side? No,
Lyndon, I'll ask you, if Essendon is asking for draft assistance and we were behind most of the day and only won by 5 points, shouldn't we ask the AFL for draft assistance then?
Well, I suppose, but then they come close to beating GWS and Gold Coast as well, didn't they, Essendon? So and they beat Melbourne. So I mean, it's just football. I mean, I know we analyse our own team to the nth degree, but you got to look at all the other teams in the league. They all have wins like this, and they'll lose and they'll win, and it's just the course of a season. And I just think tonight was our night to look a bit flat. I mean, you got to remember they come off such a epic game last week against Geelong. I think it was always going to be the case that they were going to be a little bit flat. And again, as I said, you got a mixture of the experience and a lot of kids in there as well. Wiedering out. I know we won against Port Adelaide, but I mean, Wiedering is such a pivotal part of that back line with him out of there and Dirksen taking his spot. I just think that the foundations were just a little bit shaky, and Essendon took advantage of that. And I just think they putting Merritt on the half back line, I think gave him a lot of run, and they ran off. He ran off us a little bit. I thought we're lucky that Caddy was sort of well held. I was expecting him with Wiedering out to maybe have a night out. He's been waiting to have a big night all day at some stage, and I thought Dean did a pretty good job. And I just thought
Dino done really good on it.
He did a really good job, and I just think Essendon, I think maybe got to give Solomon a little bit of credit for maybe doing what Josh Fraser's done and shifting a few things around and entrusting a few different roles into the players. I just think it showed tonight, and I just think it was our turn to maybe be a little bit flat after 3 big weeks up. And, you know, we're only a small way down the journey, and we're going to have these performances, but I'd much rather be having these performances and winning than having these performances and losing. So I just think it's part of our journey, and we'll get better.
But the thing is that, I mean, we had a tough game last week, but also Essendon had to travel over to the west and play in horrible conditions here at Perth. It was disgraceful with the wind and the rain and stuff. So, I mean, their legs would have been heavy. And so hats off to Essendon for turning up and putting in a really good effort. But so we can't use an excuse that we were flat after a good effort last week. It really is something that we need to take stock and really learn from this. Is like, you just can't, you know, don't drink your own bathwater type of thing. It was just not a good effort in the first half at all.
No, and I think they'll learn from it. They have to learn from this. They've got to learn from this. We're on a rebuild, not a rebuild, but like we're starting from very low. We've got a low base here. So, you know, like these little wins now, I think if we can learn from them, you know what I mean? What I've noticed in the last few weeks too, last week and this week, in the last few minutes, we do okay holding up the ball. I mean, that's a little thing we've learned in the last few weeks. Now, you know, like what Mackay did, holding the ball, that's pretty smart, man. He saved 30 seconds, man. Said he was going to go for goal. He got the 30 seconds. I mean, that could have possibly saved us, you know what I mean? So I think we're learning little lessons. Isn't that what we want to do? We know that this season isn't our season. But we're learning little things here. We're learning some things about our players too. I'm thinking like even Byrne, he was pretty shabby in that first half, but I thought he did some really good things in the second half. He kicked a couple of goals. You know,
Slotted the goal when he was under pressure, which so he's learned.
100%, man.
I
100%.
think
you know,
Billy Wilson was really good as well, especially early. I thought
Yeah.
I think he had 24 possessions. I thought he was really good. And I just think, well, don't forget the start of the year, we were out of the blocks 100 miles an hour and then getting reined in. I mean, at halftime, it was a shocking half of football. And I don't agree with anyone. Disagree with anyone about that. It was a shocking half, but the second half we dug in and we found a way. I think this is just my opinion. I just think this is an example or an occasion where I think you've got almost, rather than say it was a piss poor game and we got ahead of ourselves and drunk our own bathwater, I think we just got to say, hey, we showed actually a little bit of maturity. Played a shocking first half and we dug in and found a way to win. I think that's where we're at. Don't forget, we're not a top 4 or 5 side. We're a bottom 5 side, and we've found a way to work out through it and get a win. So, look, just me personally, I'm looking at it as definitely glass half full rather than glass half empty.
However, with our current form, if we keep building this momentum and still, get these wins under, the sky's the limit, really. You never know what you can achieve. This season is not unsalvageable. We could still aim for whatever we can aim. I mean, the way you saw Fremantle play and others as well, we're not near that. But if we just keep on working at each week in the task at hand, you never know where we'll end up. Don't worry about the Cody Walkers and the concessions and all that kind of stuff.
I can't believe that talk. Fair.
Just each week, just keep working on what we're working, improve our skills, get the wins when we can, and no team is unbeatable in this league at all. So we just need to keep working hard.
If I can say one thing.
Sorry, mate. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine. It's that I don't think we would have won this game 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Nope.
Like, no way. I think the one thing that stood out to me is that because normally we'd be in positions where we'd be leading the second half. I mean, we'd be leading the first half and then we'd have a fade out. When this time it actually flipped, we were trailing by a fair bit. And I didn't watch the third quarter, so I don't know how that played out. But the fact that, we stuck in and we found a way to end up winning that game, like, you got to give them credit for that too.
And this is what I'm saying. And that third quarter was better was way better than the first half, and we stuck with it, and we evened the ledger, right? Because we were at one stage, I think at the start, we would have been like 20 points down or something. So
I think over 20 points. I think it was.
Yeah.
So then we come back and we did okay, and it wasn't great. But again, what do you want from us? You know what I mean? I know everyone wants us to be like, but we're just not there. Remember what we were like 4 weeks ago. And you're right. I don't think we would have won this 5 weeks ago.
And then again,
I don't think we would have won it.
If there was people actually saying, "Oh, we're going to win by 15 to 20 goals," like, "Oh yeah, like we've already won like 4 points, tick it off, move on to the bye," we haven't scored over 100 points yet. So I don't know where people are getting that narrative. Oh yeah, we're going to win by 10 to 15 goals from.
I know. Like all of a sudden, we're going to win by 100 points, and we can't even score 100 points ourselves.
No way. But
no.
Again, just to talk about like the young players as well, is that I still think, I mean, Cowan, like, he's still young. How old is he? 21, 20, around there?
Yeah, he'd be like 21, 22, I reckon.
Yeah, he's in his, third season. I mean, it's not like he's played, 10 years and, he's still, up and down. Like, he's still relatively learning. Like, he's played 50 games. Like, I mean, it's a fair bit, but it's not a lot. So him in particular and, like, other players like him in that bracket, like, they're going to have their days where they play well and they play shit.
I agree. And don't, look at today, look at Sydney, right? I know it was a much higher quality game.
Great example, Rocco. Sydney today. Yep.
Did they think they were going to be that close to St Kilda? No one picked St Kilda, I'll tell you right now. But they found a way to win at the end. That they'll take the 4 points and go into the bye. I think they've got a bye. Hey, they did. I'm not saying we're Sydney like. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, sometimes you just got to win. Yeah. We just got to win. You know what I mean? And we are where, the bottom 6, I think we're all pretty much kind of even, if that makes sense. Maybe we're a little bit, we're a little bit above them, but we could easily lose to Essendon, West Coast next week. We could
I mean,
easily lose to any of those sides.
yeah,
I just wanted to
but-
compare the game I saw with Fremantle versus North Melbourne, and literally North Melbourne looked like they were the epitome of witches' hats. Whereas
Exactly.
for us tonight, we were beating ourselves just because our skill level was so poor, and that's what was the difference. We weren't witches' hats; we were just bloody awful, and that was a big difference. So,
100%.
and
why were we so
Welcome.
why were we so poor though? Like again, like we don't know. Like we're just assuming, but like why? Like why did we rock up the way that we did? Because that
I think
first
it's
half
mentally.
was the same. Like Voss was probably sitting on his couch going, "Like I told you so." Like it got to that point, but I don't know like why they were so switched off and why they weren't really locked in.
I reckon mentally we just went in and we weren't prepared. I think we took it a little bit easy. We're thinking it's Essendon. We're favourites. And I think we learned a valuable lesson going into that we should take no games easy. Welcome to Andy. How are you, mate?
G'day, lads. How are you?
Good. What do you think?
Nah, I reckon you just touched on it, Rock. I just wanted to throw a question out. Do we play to where we think the team that we're playing is? Do we, like last week, Geelong, very good team. So we lift tonight, bottom side Essendon. So we go, probably don't need to go as hard. That's just,
It
I don't know.
happens.
That's a good point.
It happens, and I think sides do that, Andy. I think sides do that. You go in and they kind of bring and you play to their level. I mean, I noticed that it's a good example, billiards. Man, if I play against a really good billiard player, I'm hitting shots from everywhere. I play against a shit billiard player, I can't hit a pocket. Like I don't know what's going on. So it's a bit like that, but that's the lessons we've got to learn now.
Yeah,
This is what we've got to learn, that it doesn't matter who we're playing. We've always got to play to a certain level. You know what I mean? And I think these are the lessons we've got to learn.
The thing is, we have no right to think like that.
Yeah.
We have zero right to think like that. Like we can't be going like, okay, we're playing GWS after the bye, so we're gonna play out of our skin. The week after, we've got Richmond, so we're just gonna play 50%.
Exactly.
We've got no right to think like that. Like we're in that bracket of if we lose a couple, we're back in the bottom 3 or 4. If we win a couple, then all right, like you're in contention of playing finals. But we have again, I feel like if it seems to me,
psychologically, I don't think it's almost like, and you're right, we don't have a right to think like that, but it's almost like it's not a choice. You're psychologically, because they're so, I don't know, I don't want to call them weak, but psychologically they go into the game subconsciously thinking this team has barely won a game in the last 12 months. We don't have much to fear. But then when it's Geelong, it's almost like, fuck, they're getting talked about, best team in the comp, they're beating Sydney. We've got to lift, we've got to switch on, we've got a game plan, we've got to hit that game plan. Someone in the commentary tonight, I think it was Crawford, said, like the last 3 weeks you've come out like you're the hunter, and then this week you're the hunted, and it happens. Like it's funny how quick it can change. You win a few games, and all of a sudden, teams are hunting you rather than the other way around. If we came out tonight and we played like we did against Geelong, we would have beaten them by 100 points, but we didn't. We held possession. We went back behind our mark. We didn't play on in the first half. We got set. We were almost waiting for them to almost fall over for us to walk it into goal. Whereas last week, we just went. We took it to them. We tackled. We hunted. We pressured. And this week, you didn't see any of that. You saw it in late in the third quarter and the last quarter. So it's just funny how, like, psychologically, if you're off by 5%, how things can change.
Lyndon, you know the quote well. It's always good to have a plan until you get smacked in the face, and that's what it felt like tonight. Is that we got smacked in the face early, and we just were stunned and on the canvas. But it was credit to us, whether it was the coaching or whatever, that we managed to get up and respond and get the win. So, as much as it was a deplorable effort, it was still a win, and we'll take that. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I also agree that I think with Bossy in charge, we would have lost that game because there wouldn't have been no probably mind or change in mindset at half time. There wouldn't have been any changes. There wouldn't have been anything. It would have just been as it was, and maybe Essendon might have gotten over us. But I just think, as I said before, I just see it as a learning curve for the young guys. I think our real stars only had sort of subpar type of nights, and the kids sort of got another game under the belt. And I actually thought it was just again one of those wins where you look good next time and just get this 4 points under your belt and move on. But and I think Andy also said you're down 5%. Well, the opposition's up 5 or 10%. Well, it's a massive swing. So I just think that was the case tonight. We were 5%, maybe even 10% down. Essendon rose 10%. And I probably agree with David, though. I mean, they might have had heavy legs after last week's game in Perth, but I just think the Carlton factor would have been enough to sort of get them up. And it's just one of those occasions where one team was up for it, the other team wasn't, and we almost paid for it. But we did what we had to do and got a win. And let's not forget we're now 4 wins in a row, and I'll take that any day of the week.
Absolutely.
If we're having that mindset of, like, as Andy said, okay, like we're going to lift by 10% if we're playing a top 4, top 6 team and lower our guard a little bit when we're playing a bottom 4, bottom 2 team. Do these players not forget where we were 6 to 8 weeks ago? Like, if they're having that mindset now, then that worries me to an extent, because not so long ago we won 1 game out of 8. So just because they won 3-4 games in a row now, they can't start thinking, okay, like, we're on top of the world now, like, it's us against them, like we can just think whatever we want depending on who we play. Like, no, you can't think like that. You need to treat every opposition with a bit of respect, like GWS, all right, good opposition, tough game. If you win, you win, you lose, but you need to have that same mindset going into West Coast and Richmond as well. Because if we, let's say, beat GWS and go into the West Coast game thinking, oh yeah, like, they're not as good as what we are, you're going to have the same issue as we saw tonight.
See, I mean, I sort of get where you're coming from, but I don't sort of see it that way. I don't see it as the team getting ahead of themselves, getting big heads or anything. I don't see that at all. I just see a team of players that, they're a mid-range side and they've just had a down night. I just think they had a massive up last week, and you're going to have the swings and roundabouts, as they say, in any elite sport. And I don't think they got ahead. I think they would realise that they're in no position whatsoever to get ahead of themselves. And I just think as part of the journey, they're going to have their ups and downs. I don't think they're ahead of themselves at all.
Did you notice? Oh, sorry. Did you notice? But that Fraser wasn't scared to move players from the forward line to the back line. He swapped everyone around.
Yeah.
Whether it was the Billy Wilsons, whether it was McGovern, he made positive efforts to change what we were doing. Whereas Voss was very, very complacent, very stubborn in his ways, and that's a big tick for the way the team's changed and the way that Fraser's also coaching the team. And that we needed, when the game was going against us, we were so set in our ways previously that we didn't want to change anything, and that was a big change for tonight, and that may have swung the game. Who knows?
And Rocco Moro, sorry, mate, just one more thing. The Rocco Moro in the chat, excellent point. We're not used to being the hunted. We have been the hunter in all the games we've sort of won in the last few weeks. And in this game, we were the hunted. And it's just, again, part of the learning curve, I think. By the way, Bo, it's the British and American Hotel in Bendigo. By the way, I've seen your comment there. But I just think, again, it's part of the process of the building of this team. And I just think they're just learning to be, as Rocco said there, the hunted rather than the hunter. And I just think it's just going to be part of the learning curve. And I think they'll get there in the end, but it's just, again, going to be a process.
I think did you say Bendigo?
Yeah, mate.
Did you say Bendigo? Yeah. I'm from WA, and all I know is Bendigo this time of year is bloody freezing, isn't it?
It is. It's Victoria, mate. It's bloody cold all over the joint over here. But
cold wherever. But don't worry, mate. The beer's cold. That's all that matters,
exactly
mate.
Right.
The beer's cold, mate. And we'll be there next weekend. So we'll be coming down there, and we're going to be doing some stuff up there. So
sorry about that. Sorry, Rocco Grasso was the one that actually commented. Sorry about that.
Yeah. And look, I agree with
Roccos.
There's a lot of Roccos, man. When there's too many Roccos in one room, that's when the worlds collide, and who knows what's going to happen. But I agree. I think Aiden was right in a way, Lyndon, where
Yep.
I think subconsciously they maybe took it a little bit easy, like because they were the hunter now, because they were our favourites. And I think just that little bit easier. And I think it's a good learning curve for him. I hope that, with Fraser or the next coach, he's the one that's got to ground them now and say, and maybe he did that at half time. Maybe he came in and said, hey, what's going on, guys? Who are you? What's going on, man? How do you only have 16 tackles? That's what I would have been yelling. Like, how do you have 16 tackles in a half a footy, guys? What's going on? Who are you? Like, that's what I would have been saying to them, and they improved. I don't know what they ended up with. I'll have a look. I don't know what they ended up with, but that's what I would have been upset with. 16 tackles. They just ran rings around you, guys. You got beaten out of the centre. Then you started panicking and kicking it long and going back to that. It reminded me a lot of last week's first quarter. We just were kicking it long. They were marking it and taking it away, and then they took their off. Hey, we've got to give some credit to, I just said, I hate Essendon, but they came out with a plan, and that we actually got out-coached in that first half.
The
Right?
boys
And,
were, especially in the first half, and they even did it in the second half. But they were building it up, the ball up slow, and then getting it to the mid.
yes.
And then they were kicking the ball from the midfield, so the entries were going short, and it wasn't allowing our small forwards to get set and create a contest. And the ball was just coming straight back out. And they did it again and again and again. And we've all seen it before in our last 18 months. It's just that high up and unders. And then in the third quarter, at the end, in the fourth quarter, we started to run and gun, hand pass, get a little bit closer to the 50 and then kick it in, which created, inside forward 50 stoppages. And then we created a few scores out of that. The problem with our team is, like, we know what can win us a game and we know what can lose us a game. And the fact that we're resorting to that at the start of the game, Essendon weren't putting on major pressure in the first half. They were as hopeless as us. They weren't tackling. I think the pressure rating from both teams was like around that 100 to 130 mark in the first half.
Bad.
So
that's bad.
It's really bad. It's not a contested game. It's very free flowing. Someone just had to pull the trigger. But the fact that we didn't, and we weren't the first one to sort of take it on, was sort of disappointing. I think the thing for the game tonight for me, it's been a massive month. But we got the 4 points. Walsh and Cripps in the last 3 games, outside of tonight, have been monster. Walsh is clearly injured. His shoulder's fucked. Cripps is fucking tired. They needed to just win, because the reason why we've won the last fucking few games is because Cripps and Walsh. Tonight they were held pretty quiet, and that's why we didn't get a lot of reward, in my opinion. So our
Cripps stood
best
up in
player
that last
tonight.
quarter, man.
Yeah,
He stood up in that last quarter. He was good.
He lifted, but the 3 quarters, the 3 quarters prior, he had 5 disposals at half time. So
no, he was poor. He was poor, but he stood up when we needed to. That's all you can ask, And
but
I asked for that.
What I'm saying is the reason why we didn't have a monster 60-point win is because those boys have been killing themselves, So the bye has probably come at a really, really good time just to get them a bit of rest and relaxation, and then they can go and hit it for the next half, because they've been fucking amazing and have really lifted in the last couple of weeks. They didn't do it tonight. They had their moments in the third and fourth quarter, but they definitely were outplayed tonight.
I think one of the players that's been critical to our resurgence, I think, is Billy Wilson, who's come in and showed so much composure as a young kid. And I think tonight showed that I don't think Saad's ever going to get back into this team with Billy Wilson, and we should have given him a chance a long time ago. And that was again one of the the foibles of Voss was he didn't trust these young kids to have a go and didn't give them a chance. And I say hats off to Billy Wilson to turn up and show what he's showing. Not perfect yet. He's still a guy that's got a lot of things he needs to adjust, but he's playing really well and showing belief in himself that he didn't have under Voss. So good on you, Billy.
Yeah, he played well.
Yeah,
Billy Wilson. You know where he's from? Yes, everyone knows he's from Dramana, down where Bo lives. Yes, we know. Look, I think that Billy Wilson's been. So I love Billy Wilson, and I think he got us going. There was a couple of times where he took on the game, broke the lines, and we brought the ball forward. I love Billy Wilson. We need more of that. He's been one of the shining lights for sure. I love this kid. We need more of that.
Just a modern. He's a modern day player. Like we've neglected to get these running halfbacks in our team outside of Newman, and it's like we haven't drafted them, and we haven't tried to recruit them through free agency. So he's the one player that we've got that can do that, like hand pass, run pass, get it back, and go. Like we had Sard, but Sard just doesn't do it enough. So yeah, you're right. Like he's never getting back. He's never getting back in the team. That's for sure.
I don't think so. Unless there's injuries, I don't think Sard gets back in the team.
No way.
Our defense stands up pretty well, though. Our defense has been coming along very nicely, man. I like it. With the two big boys. You know, you bring Wiedering back. Dean has been again. He was amazing. Dean is. I'm telling you, he's screaming. If not captain, leader of this club, he's a definitely leader, and I love this kid. You know, that's it, man. Really, it was just a win tonight. It was just a win. Imagine we lost to Essendon. How would you feel now?
I'd probably come on here being like, oh, thank God I left early. But
yeah, that's right.
It'd be a real emergency meeting, wouldn't it?
It'd be a real emergency meeting. Yeah, 100%, man. No. I'm just happy we beat this mob. Put one more nail in their coffin, finish them off. We still give ourselves a chance for finals. You know what I mean? If we lose tonight, I think all hope for the 10 is done. He's done. You know what I mean? So
does Zach Williams come back in?
Yeah.
Well,
I was just gonna ask that.
I was glad they didn't put him in because that shows something to me that they're not rushing him in just because it's Zach Williams. But who would you leave out?
There's two names I've got that were freaking pretty quiet tonight. They had their moments last week, but they were also very quiet. And I'm like, a little bit of leadership and experience in the forward line wouldn't have gone astray tonight.
Yeah, if you say Eisen, I'm going to take you off, mate. You leave this bloke alone, mate. He's all right, mate. He's all right.
I mean, he probably does need a rest to a point.
Why? He's going to have his rest next week.
5 on the bench. They can play him off the bench a little bit more.
No, you can't rest him. Like, he was a bit quiet tonight, but
then again,
you can't just rest him after one bad game.
No. You're gonna have like moments where, like Eisen in particular, where he has a good 2 weeks and then he's gonna have a poor 2-3 weeks as well. Like there was a lot of tackles that he attempted that he got shrugged off pretty easily. But again, like it's his 4th game.
Was Evans injured too? He might be one.
Frank did his little bits he did little things in the game, little passes, little pressure acts. As much as he doesn't impact the scoreline, we want a small forward. He did a lot of things, and even in the back, he was back in defence doing some efforts tonight. So, you look at his stats, and that's why you can't just look at the stats and gauge a player's effort. Frank the Tank did all right tonight. He did a lot of good things.
I thought he might have got injured at the end. I think they might have said.
Oh, yeah, okay, he showed up that he showed up in the teams that he was injured. So yeah, if he's out, I suppose Williams is the one to come in. I mean, Lord has also been playing well. Different player, but he's maybe one that can come in.
But not as a forward. Not as a forward, though.
Not as a forward. Yeah, not as a forward. So I think Williams is more the player if you're going to replace him. You're not bringing in Moya or anyone like that. So
they played Moya. They were playing Moya off the half back line today in the VFL.
Defender. Yeah.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether that's something we're going to explore, whether that's the VFL doing that. But apparently on Tuesday at training with the AFL team, Moya was doing that as well. So
I need
he
to do
must be
something with
coming.
him because if not, he's going to get the chop pretty soon. You'd probably think.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked even today with I'm not sure if you guys saw the VFL game, but
No.
Jackson Binns, who was prolific for us in the VFL, couldn't make it in the AFL for us, but is still languishing in the VFL for Essendon. So it's just because you get a ton of the ball in the VFL or your VFL form doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make it in the AFL. And I think Ashton Moyer is the kind of player he doesn't need to get 30 possessions in the VFL. I think if you give him a chance in the AFL, he's got so great skills. He marks the ball. He can kick the ball with both feet. He just needs to find his place. He needs to work harder. Definitely, his work rate at training and during games is substandard. So maybe changing his role is something that maybe will change to what the player is. And I also have belief in him. I have belief in O'Keefe that he's a player that could definitely, when you give him a genuine role as a forward or as a ruckman, don't leave him in no man's land. These kind of guys, we just need to work on and realize they have great skill sets. We just need to make sure we utilize them. And that's
They need
up to
to partner him up with Ison at training, and that's the work ethic and mindset that he needs of Ison. I know Ison's only a young kid, but geez, I mean, technically, Moyer and Ison should be on a half forward flank each. That's the level they should be at, and Ison's gone straight past Moyer this year, so maybe they could. Moyer could take a little leaf out of Ison's book because that's a mindset he needs.
I think they've played him on halfback to teach him some forward craft.
Yep.
Like you go back to sort of learn your forward craft, like how forwards move and how wide defenders are beating you. So I think they've put him back there. And it was funny, they lost the VFL game today, and Edwards kicked 5, and I can't remember, someone else kicked 4. So ultimately didn't have the greatest game, and they 2 players kicked 9 goals between them. So they've been doing that with a few forwards in the league at the moment. They're shifting them back in the VFL to teach them, and even in the AFL to teach them what can you do better as a forward. If you're playing defense, you can sort of see how they move. But yeah, I don't know. He's got an instinctual way he plays, but it's definitely work ethic that holds him back, I think, Moyer. So
I'm a bit worried about Moyer. I'm a bit worried, man. He's got the skill. He shows it at times, but what is it, 4 years? Is it 4 years he's in the team?
Yeah.
And still can't break it in. When he comes in, doesn't show a lot. You know what I mean? He shows a little bit here, a little bit there. Then he goes back. I always hear about he's lazy. All this, I'm a bit worried. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he'll make it. I think he'll be one of those players that will say, oh, he showed something, but he just wasn't good enough. I don't think he'll make. I know, David, you like him, but I don't know, mate. I don't think he'll make it.
He's I'm an SA boy, and he was playing with the Bays. He's playing with the Glenelg Tigers, and in I think the year before his draft year, he was picked as a top 10 pick, and then something happened. I don't know. I think he either got injured or something happened, and then in his draft year, he slid way back. And I knew a guy that played with him, and he was like, "Nah, he's actually really good player, can kick on both sides of his body, and really crafty." And we've seen it, he could do some really special things. But ultimately, if you don't work hard, if you don't hunt, if you don't gut run in the AFL, you get found out really quickly. So he might be one of those guys that just matures a bit later. But like you said, Brock, he's fucking 4 years in. You don't get too many second chances.
Someone said his 3rd year, so whatever. But I don't know. I hear too many times he's lazy. He's not doing what he's asked, So I don't know. We'll see what happens this year. I don't know if he's contracted for next year.
His mum represented Australia in Taekwondo at the Sydney Olympics. So he's learnt work ethic from being in a family of elite athletes. So it's not like he doesn't know how hard he has to work. It's just, I think maybe that's his lackadaisical nature, that he looks like he's not working hard, but we just need to see the results. And I think that'll speak to himself and determine his fate. So, I mean, it's up to him really, but I don't want to give up on him just yet. That's for sure.
I don't think
You
we'll
think
give
if he
up on
can't
him.
make it under Fraser and at least have an opportunity, then not looking good for the future if he can't get a chance under Josh Fraser with all the
Opportunity.
changes that he's made.
Yeah,
agree.
maybe Fraser Byrne, Fraser Young might be someone who comes out because he hasn't been setting the world on fire. We'll just have to wait and see what opportunities they give him because it's going to be interesting. Match committee at the moment is very up to question. We're only making minor tweaks here and there every week. We're not making major changes, but I think they still need to give each player a good chance at it. So don't let Taylor and Young have a chance at it, and if they don't seem to be up to the task, then bring in new guys. But don't want to have changes every week and not give chances to players.
I'll tell you, one guy that has been unheralded in the whole thing and deserves a massive pat in the back we never hear about, and I can't remember his name. That's how well known he is. The high performance coach. We've got a full stack of players. When's that ever happened? We've got too much choice at the moment, so all these players are in the reserves. I mean, haven't heard his name mentioned once. He's from Sydney, I think, isn't he? I can't remember his name, but geez, he deserves massive amounts of credit for having pretty much probably a 90% healthy list, which is something we've just never seen at Carlton.
But Lyndon, we were saying in the first 6 weeks that we looked unfit and couldn't run out games. So it's kind of
it is a marathon, not a sprint. Remember?
Oh, absolutely. But it's just one of those things that when you're winning, everything looks good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Funny. I said this last week where, I said this last night. Sorry, where I said you need to give credit to the S&C manager because I can't remember when McGovern played this consistently. Chera, Williams start.
Yep.
Because under Andrew Russell, like whether it was his fault or not, they used to come in and out of the team every 2-3 weeks.
Yep, and be out for 12 weeks.
Hang on. You've mentioned a fair few players there. What do you think the difference is this year? They're all
Jack
out of
Martin
Jack
Martin looked like Superman on Thursday night.
They're all
Playing
out
for Geelong.
Yeah, Jack Martin. What could he been under the new strength and conditioning coach? Jeez, we'll never know.
You mentioned Williams, McGovern. Who else did you say then? Williams, McGovern. I mean, Chera's just locked himself in, but they're all out of contract. It's amazing when you're out of contract to play your best footy. Like McGovern, he's our highest freaking goal kicker this year. Like, how do you not give him another contract? But realistically, at the end of last year, we were like, "You're done, mate," and then we late re-signed him.
Didn't he play 16 games last year? 17, 18 games, McGovern?
Yeah, so I think he played.
Didn't hit his trigger though, did he?
Yeah, so what they did was he played his 17 and then they held him back and didn't make him hit that trigger. So then they were in control. But with McGovern, I mean, McGovern's McGovern. McGovern's not in our future. What's he going to do next year? Like, it depends on who we get, who we pick up, what we do. He might get another year. He might not. It really doesn't matter. But you know what? Credit where credit is due, man. The bloke's been playing well this year. You can't. And I think he was important in that second half for us. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for him, we're probably not winning that game. He took some big marks. He went forward. There was one time where he took 2 big marks, one after the other. He took it, ball came back, and he did it again, So he's been good, but I don't know. McGovern, we'll see what happens with him. If he doesn't re-sign, you're not missing him.
He's a depth player.
He's a depth player. And at the moment, we need him. You're right. But we do need...
I think...
We need another forward.
I was going to say I don't think we can go into, next year with McGovern and Kemp. I think we need to target either probably Walter or that GWS forward that's out of contract too. Like, he's pretty young.
Max Riccardi?
Yeah, I think that's his name. Yeah.
Is that Riccardi, is it? Yeah. You're not getting the game at the moment.
Not Riccardi. It's another one. I think he's 21.
What's his name? I know the one you're talking about.
He's got a difficult last name. I can't pronounce his last name. Yeah, that one there. Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want a Marty. We don't. I don't think he'd fit outside at all.
Nah, Marty.
Jed
What
Walter,
is
maybe.
going on
You
there?
might be able to squeeze him in.
We definitely need another forward. I would love to get another forward because the role that Mackay's playing now and not being that permanent forward, I think it's suiting him perfectly. Running around in the ruck, getting his hands on the ball, taking some marks in the back line, and then kicking some goals. It's perfect, you know. But we
Takes
do
the pressure off.
need someone else. Jed Walter, I think, is the one everyone's been talking about. But we definitely need another forward. If we get another forward, imagine having a key forward who could kick 6, 7, 8 goals every game. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be
It
nice.
frustrates me with Mackay in the forward half. In the first half, his hands looked like they would. Yeah, he weren't even awake. He missed so many marks. Then he goes in the back line or in the middle, and all of a sudden he's taking screamers all over the place. And it's like, what is going on? You know, your brain is not connected enough to be able to
But
work
he was
it out
good
early.
tonight.
He was, yeah.
He was
But
really
earlier
good. And
on,
I think,
he was
I think it
symptomatic
matched
of
the whole team.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's
It's almost
on
like
like
we've
him.
got to move away from him for being a forward almost, isn't it? He's almost that
Yep.
sort of up and down type of player, forward, back, ruck. He's just all over the place. And I think he seems more comfortable in that role as well.
Utility.
As soon as you put him down forward, he's all over the place. But if you actually put him in the ruck and all around the ground, he seems to gain confidence and more confidence in himself. So maybe that's a role for him, just a bit of a utility all over the ground.
Yeah, he's definitely better utility than he is permanent lockdown forward. But we've never, we very rarely play him just out of the goal square and get him one-on-one with an opponent as well, which like all the top teams now are doing it. Like Hawthorn, they clear the goal square out and they leave Gunston and his opponent, just him one-on-one, and they get all the half forwards to push up. So it's literally one-on-ones. Now, we've haven't ever really done that kind of tactic, and I don't know if it will work with us, if it'll work with our game style, but he definitely has looked better when you've got him, like you said, in the ruck, behind the ball, on the wing. But then what it does is it leaves you short in the forward line when you kick it. So it's like, well, what's the answer?
And that's why we have to find someone. That's why we got to work on the off season to get someone up there and you know,
don't let Kemp have simple shots at goal. Give him the impossible ones from the boundary line that he'll hit every bloody time, for Christ's sakes.
That snap was fucking like out of every goal you got to kick, he was like 50 meters from the boundary around the corner. Fuck, that's a big goal, man. And he kicks it. But if you're 20 meters in front, he'll spray it. That's crazy.
Yeah, that miss there and
it's just a bit too short.
That miss there was terrible, man. And we got Andy in the chat there, and right, he's been giving it to Kemp. He doesn't call him a real footballer. He owed the one after the spastic miss out from 25. When he missed that, I smacked the chair, man. I was so upset. But when he was on the 40 meter line there on the boundary and he kicks the goal, you know, I was screaming out, you have to get this goal, and he did. So, but that miss from 20, you can't be doing that, mate. You can't be missing that goal, you know what I mean? And even Cripper, he missed the goal from 30 out. You can't be missing those goals, mate.
He needs to seriously work on his technique, big time.
100%.
What year is
last week? Imagine if he went for a normal set shot last week, he probably would have missed. That's why he probably opted for the snap. Like, I don't think he's confident that with himself that he can kick a normal drop punt. I think he probably needs to, work on his technique, and whether he's in, two heads about it and overcomplicates it, I don't know. But there were a lot of misses tonight, which I didn't really watch the third quarter. That his one in particular cost us big time. You can't miss those, especially as a captain, when you have again another moment to seal the game. Like you need to seal those at times.
100%, man. I'll give you a question. So if you do pick up a Walters or another forward, does Kemp even play anymore?
Doubtful.
Yeah, I think you'd need to still play a big. If you've got a key forward, you mean?
Yeah, just say we get another key forward. Just say we get ourselves a key forward. Does he even play anymore?
It's hard because you don't want to. I don't know. The modern game, you need more smalls, in my opinion. So I don't know. Be tough. He works
I
hard,
reckon it'll
Kemp.
be-
Like he creates separation.
I was just going to say too, I think there's a role for him because you see him, he does put in the second and third efforts all the time, and he's going to make you bang your fist on the table every now and then. But his efforts in there, I think he'd have a role. Obviously not the focal point or anything like that, but just the decoy and the tackler, the chaser, all that sort of stuff. I think there's a role for him. I suppose it depends on some of the other players.
We sent him forward out of necessity more than anything else.
Yeah.
How do you rate him as a backman? But would he be able to slot back into the back line at the way it's setting up now with Harry and Weeders and stuff, or does he not have a role there anymore?
Not if they all stay. And you know what? We give Kemp shit. Kemp's kicks 2 goals a game. When's the last time he hasn't kicked 2 goals? He does his job. He kicks 2 goals a game.
I think you just keep him as a utility, to be honest. Like someone starts off the bench and, can go forward, can go back if we get a key forward. He's a decent utility, I reckon.
If you said right now, Mackay's going to kick 3 goals a game, you'd take that, wouldn't you? So Kemp's kicking 2 goals a game as your second key. Not even second key because McGovern's there. He's almost your third. So if Kemp's kicking 2 goals a game consistently, I'm taking that every day of the week. Does he miss straight in front of goal and you want to pull your hair out? Yeah. But he's kicking 2 a game on average. He kicks 2 on average.
I agree. He does his job. It's real weird. He does his job. He kicks his 2 goals. But I just think moving forward, if you get another forward, he might find it hard to get a spot there. But you're right. At the moment, mate, he's kicked 20-odd goals. I mean, what else do you want? Him and McGovern are our 2 highest goals. So what do you want? So I don't know. Does it fit our game in the future? I don't know. Like if you're picking up a Jet Walter or you're picking up, what about someone else like who's the bloke who plays for Gold Coast? The forward there, or one of those forwards, they come over and that. I mean, he's going to find it hard because who else would you drop? You can't have them all in there.
If you said at the start of the season, Kemp's going to kick you 40 goals, I think most Carlton fans would say, I'm happy with that. Like 40 goals.
Yeah, 100%.
It's difficult to get, especially with our team, how we move the ball the first half of the year. So I don't know.
Of course, Jesse Motlop will be coming back and kicking at least 50 next season, so don't worry about that.
I forgot about him. Far out.
Yeah,
Blues own Jesse Motlop.
He's one that's got to come back. We've got a few to come back. Before we go on, I just got a super chat. This is from Footy Nutter, and he wrote, anyone else going to see Dixie? No, Morris tomorrow.
Dixie.
That's the way I'm going to pronounce it. I don't know, man. Maybe. Just keep trying. You might get me. So thanks for the donation. So that's going to be interesting. But in tonight's game, I think Harry's been great. The forward line's been working okay. I like it that there's 4 or 5 different goal kickers. I like it. I like a small forward line. I really do like it because small forwards can kick bags of goals. You don't need it. You just need one. You just need one that's going to stand up, right? And you look at someone like a Hawthorn with like a Watson and you've got like all those, they can kick bags of goals. We're potentially starting to build that. And you're right, Motlop comes in. I mean, the kid's got talent. He can do anything next year. So if you bring in Motlop and he does what we think he can do, and then all of a sudden you've got your Byrne and you've got your Ison and then you've got Mackay jumping in. But Cripps now is going forward, right? Mate, he's trying to take mark of the century every bloody game now, if you notice, right? So he's up there. He's got a bit of confidence, You got Haywood. He's going up there kicking it, and Ainsworth. So I actually like the way it's going. I really do. I just think we need one more. Yeah, Ben King. I was thinking. Imagine you get like a Ben King up there, you know, and then you can play Harry up more, you know, and so that's it. But that's for next year. We've got a lot to do this year still. There's still a lot of work to do for us.
I just made the mistake of
gotta go,
Googling
guys.
DC Enormous. Oh,
Hey,
sorry,
before
Lyndon.
you go,
sorry to cut you off there.
before you go,
Yeah.
right? I actually, it just come through. I know why they improved in that second half.
Why is that?
They showed them this.
Top dog liquor, boozy and bold. Top dog liquor, boozy and bold. Top deals, top booze. We have everything you choose. Iron Bar, Heathcote, Strathdale, White Hills. Top dog liquor. Get a little punch.
That's what they
Very,
did,
very
mate.
cool. Love the ad. I'm going to put it on my socials this week. And
Yeah,
thanks
do
again
it.
to both for putting that together. Fantastic.
Nah, it's all good, man. We love your support, and thanks for jumping on. Thanks for your support. Make sure you get
Thanks,
down
guys.
to Top Dog Liquor. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
It's time to go!
Oh, there you go. There you go. So yeah. Is there much more to say about tonight's game? It was just a win, yeah. A couple of players played well, pretty poor.
Who do you,
I don't know.
who do you give your top three to?
I was saying this with Bo. It's interesting, you know, like when you look at the team and who got possessions and that. I don't really look at that. I'm thinking I almost throw away the first half, right? Because it was, you know, pretty much a shit first half. You know what I mean? I think Chera was probably one of our better plays in the first half. The rest were kind of poor, nothing. So I just go straight into the second half when we needed to win the game. I'm going to give some votes to McGovern. I thought what he did was important in that second half. Ainsworth was good. Cripper, I thought, was excellent in that last quarter. He doesn't do what he does. We don't win that game. Dean was good probably throughout the whole game. So probably he'll be right up there. Yeah, that's about it. What about you, Andy? What are you thinking?
I'm going Harry Dean. I'm going Harry Dean, Jagger, and Harry Mackay. I reckon
Jagger was good. Jagger was good, especially in that last quarter.
I think they all put in three.
Oh yeah, and I forgot about Mackay. Mackay will probably be in my top three for sure. Yeah, 100%.
I went Hewitt, Akers, Mackay.
He went Hewitt. Hewitt was okay. I mean, he was good. He got a lot of the ball.
Got a lot of the ball. He tackled when other people couldn't. And when Durham was getting off the chain, they sent him to him, and he nullified him. And Akers throughout the game, like even in the first half when we were playing our worst, he was just gut running, getting back with the fly. He just seemed like the only one that sort of gave a shit. And then I gave I went with the three because he you know, throughout the game he was getting involved, kicked the three important goals and took a lot of marks in defence and in forward line. So yeah, I thought those three were my three. I think like you mentioned, like Smith and Cripps and that in the second half, but I reckon in the first half to just sort of keep us just sort of involved in the game, I reckon Hewitt and Akers were really important. Which
Akers is another one. Yeah, there were a few. You're right too. Probably for me now, thinking about it, like Mackay definitely has to probably take the three. Dean kept us in there. Akers kept us in there in the first half, but then Cripper in the last quarter did a lot. So yeah, they'll probably be in. Aiden,
you awake, Aiden?
Yeah, I was just looking through social media. What was the question?
Who are your top three?
Top three players.
I mean, I only watched probably a little bit of the game, but from what I saw, probably Jagger. Dean, number one, Jagger, and then again, probably Harry.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. But there's a lot of plays that did little things that were important in that second half. I'm just looking at just little things, tackles. I mean, as I said, I thought McGovern was important, especially in that third and fourth quarter. Man, he took some big marks and he went behind the ball. He did really good, and also Haywood I thought was good. Kicked that goal, even though they called it play on, and he ran in and kicked the goal. You know what I mean? So he was good. And Akers has been. He's been good the last 2 weeks. You can't deny Akers, man. He's been good, man. He's been really, really good doing the hard work.
After
Let's hope
after the bye, do you bring Hollins in or does he keep his spot? Because this is a question I ask of all the Blues fans. Does he lose his spot or does Hollins go in the VFL and earn his spot?
His spaghetti arms cost him, I think. As much as I love his efforts that he runs, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think he has to earn it.
I think, if Akers keeps playing this well, I reckon we should keep playing him because, it boosts his trade value.
It's but do you know what? But fucking why not? Exactly. Like
Akers back to St Kilda, you reckon?
The thing that shit me with Voss was selection integrity. Like, if Voss was coach, Akers would be out of the side after the bye, and Hollins would be straight in. Now, Akers hasn't played poorly in his last 2 games that he's been inside. He's played well. He's been one of our really important players. So, for me, like, you don't just get gifted games. You fucking got to earn your game. So,
I agree. And I agree. You know what? I agree. Akers has come in. It doesn't matter if it's because of injury or whatever, right? It doesn't really matter, right? He's come in. He's played his role. You can't just bring Hollins straight back in. I mean, it just defies everything now we're doing. We're not bringing Zach Williams back in for no reason. He's not getting a game, right? So why are you going to bring in what's that?
We're not bringing Sardi back in. We're not bringing Williams.
And Sardi won't come back in because unless you got to show it in the seconds, and then a spot's got to come available. And at the moment, Akers is holding his spot after his 2 games. Imagine dropping him. That would be so unfair.
Yeah.
There was a moment in the game where Akers on the wing, and he kind of almost slung tackled a guy outside, and then stood up and basically got ready for the fight. And I think that was a bit of a difference. There's players in our team now, like Akers, like Ainsworth, like Haywood, that are prepared to have a little bit of mongrel in them, and they're with Dean as well in that regard. So before we were complacent and we were getting bullied in contests and around the ground, whereas now we've got a few players in there that have a bit of steel in them, and I think that's where those little things matter with the whole team. So I'm not a huge fan of Akers and his disposal. I think his kick is atrocious, but those little things can impact on a team and the way we're playing and our mindset quite considerably. So sometimes those little things count for a lot. And I don't think Ollie, I mean, he tries his guts out, but he's not going to be an enforcer on the field, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
I agree. And I'm telling you, when it comes in 2 weeks' time, I think selection's been good in the last 3 or 4 weeks since Fraser's come in. He hasn't made these rash decisions, right? He's brought in players through either form or necessity. Someone like an Akers, he had form in the thing, and then Hollins went down, so he brought him in. As I said, not bringing in Zach Williams, that tells me a lot. That tells me a lot, man. So, yeah, I like what he's been doing. I want to see more of that. It's in selection integrity, mate. And if you've earned it in the reserves, you get your chance, right? And another thing is, don't just drop them after one bad game.
Yeah.
Now, the only one that could happen to is Dirksen, right? Dirksen is almost that play. I mean, Wiedering comes out, Dirksen comes in, but, I mean, Wiedering's gone out because of injury, yeah?
But then again, like, if Wiedering was playing, do you think the result would have changed?
Maybe, because he would have had a little bit more. He was a bit more calmer in the back line than what. See, Dirksen was okay tonight. in the fact that he was getting to the ball, he did some, but then his disposals and his decision making was terrible. It was bloody terrible, you know. But he was actually getting to the ball and that, you know. So it wasn't too
He
bad.
lifted-
Would Wiedering done
lifted-
the same thing?
And also,
He lifted-
it would have taken the pressure off Cowan a lot, whereas Cowan was really struggling in the first half. Whereas if Wiedering was there, it would have just calmed the farm a lot more and dispersed the pressure on the whole back line. So it's easy to say that Wiedering's not necessarily a player we'd need, but it does just calm everything down, and the whole unit works better when he's there. So you look at it not as just one player, but the collective.
Haynes usually lifts when Weeders isn't there, and tonight I just found that he didn't.
Yeah.
He was sort of missing tonight.
He hasn't been good for 2 weeks. I think he's slowly waiting for O'Farrell to, get healthy again and get back into, that spot. But again, just on Weeders, I think tonight I think I said it earlier, is that this is why you can't trade him. I wouldn't trade him.
No, I don't think I think there's a lot of talk about him wanting to go and he's meeting with this club and that club. That could be all bullshit. He hasn't looked great this year, but he has looked better in the last few weeks. So, like, at the end of the day, Carlton has all the power because contracted. So if he comes to the club and says, I want out, you go, good luck trying to fucking satisfy us for you. Like, who's he going to go to where they can satisfy our needs? Because ultimately, we're going to need another key defender to replace him. And then we're going to need what? Key forwards, small forwards, halfbacks. So if anyone says, we're going to just let him go, Graham Wright's not going to just let him go.
If we get rid of Wiedering, or we get rid of him, and then we're going to try to find another Wiedering. That's the problem.
We're going to replace him, yeah.
We're just going to we're going to need.
I think North will come very hard for him. They will go in very, very hard.
What would you take from North, though?
I mean, I wouldn't take 3 top 10 picks for Wiedering. I think that's how important he is. But then again, would he really want to go to North? Look at what they dished up on Saturday.
Yeah, but their team on paper wasn't bad, and they played horrible football.
That's why it makes no sense for it. Like, someone said that during the week, or he met with North Melbourne. If he's at a one loser club, why would he want to go below that club?
Yeah.
Like, why would you make a decision like that? They're going to up his pay. They're going to up his years. Like, it doesn't. There's not a lot of convincing evidence on why he would go to, like, if he said, Wiedering's meeting with Geelong, I could go, okay, I could see that happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make any sense that he'd be going to a shitter club that's got worse, 30-year, winning record than us. Like, I can't.
He wouldn't do it. I think when we were talking about Wiedering, I mean, things are looking bad, and we were saying, like, we need to rebuild. We need to rebuild, you know what I mean? So we need draft picks, and we got no draft picks. We got we got 2 first rounders, but we're going to use them on Cody Walker. So how are we going to rebuild this side, And then we're thinking, all right, so we need draft picks. How are we going to get these draft picks? Who's got value? I mean, really, it's only Wiedering. That's what we're thinking. But at the end of the day, the smart thing is you're not getting rid of Wiedering.
No, you're
not. Because now when you look at the list actually doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look that bad. Our youngsters are pretty good.
But then again, I don't think Graham Wright would be dumb enough to get rid of him.
No.
I mean, let's face it. He was 10 minutes away from not doing that Charlie deal. So I don't think what would satisfy him enough to want to get rid of Wiedering. I don't think he would.
The only reason why he'd flick him is if he really doesn't want.
Exactly. It would be his choice.
Yeah, get me out at all. Get me out. I don't want to be here. Get me out. Because if you've got players like that in your club, it doesn't matter how good they are. You got to get rid of them. So
it's the same argument as why would Cripps want to go to West Coast? He's not going to win a premiership with them.
But then again, like I trust what Wiedering has said about that talk more this year than what I did with Charlie last year. Because again, like as you said there, is that I think the only Wiedering would leave is if he forces it. Charlie didn't want to be here last year. That's why Graham Wright got rid of him, because he even said it himself, like he made it known that he didn't want to be here. So, we got rid of him. We don't want players in like that. And I don't think Wiedering or Cripps are the type of not only players but like individuals to do that as well. So,
I mean, you say Charlie didn't want to be with us last year. Look at him; he doesn't want to be with Sydney either, mate. He plays lackluster and fucking he's become a liability of their forward line. So I'm really glad that he's not with us this year, because it'd be one more thing for us to complain about. But no, there's even if he said, "Oh, hey, if you can get me out, I'll take it. If you can't, I'll stay." I think you'd definitely be keeping him, because you're going to need to get another key back, and you're going to need to get a lot more than what clubs would probably entertain to reward us for trading him. So yeah, I don't know. I think we got to hold five on all the speculation. The media is going to talk up a big game that he's hunting to get out and all that bullshit, but ultimately he's like, I signed a big deal because I wanted to be a one cup player, and that's what I'm going to be. So,
and that's what he's effectively said too.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, we're not getting rid of him. I'm telling you, like after, at least isn't that bad. We just got to build around it now. We just got to build around it, and we can. They got some big decisions to make with the draft this year. Naturally, of course, everyone's talking about it. Cody's coming along, but what else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? And are we going to bring in a big name player?
I don't think we should be, bringing in big name players in. Yeah, I think I was going to say this just now, is that I think we're probably in a position where we probably need to fill in more holes than just getting a superstar player in, which will, probably take up 50% of your cap. And then you're risking that. But, probably, all right, you're bringing in a superstar who can, make you better. But then again, like, you still have issues in and around the ground. That makes sense.
You got 20 players out of contract. So you talk about what moves we're going to make. We're going to have to make some moves, because there's a fucking lot of players that don't have a future at the moment. So you look at all of our old players. Like, for me, I'm keeping Newman. I don't give a fuck what happens at the end of the
Newman.
Yeah, I'm keeping him. Like Akers, you could probably move on him. McGovern, does he get another 1 year deal? Maybe. It's been spoken about a lot, but McGovern seems to me like a guy that needs to play on the 1 year deals. Instead of rewarding him 2 or 3, you need to give him 1 year deals again and again and again. He plays like he has to. You
need to factor in as well is that you don't know if he'll be kicking 2 goals a game next year, considering his age as well and his body.
I think what's fundamentally important for us is that there was talk about that we were tanking earlier in the year to make sure we were positioning ourselves for Cody Walker. And I think the most important thing for us is to not have that mindset and to show that we are having a winning culture with our club, and we're focused on the right things. So I think worrying about draft picks and our positioning is irrelevant. Each game is vitally important for building our culture of the current team, our current list, who we have in the future, who we delist, who we go on with is kind of somewhat irrelevant. We just need to start building a winning culture. And we saw that in the VFL starting to develop, and now we're starting to see it in the AFL team. That's really important for the whole team on and off the field, is to have that mindset. We're not tankers. And you can see with San Antonio Spurs, they tend to get Wembanyama. It doesn't mean you automatically get a title from it. You need to do the hard yards. You need to build around players. So we need to focus on a collective and keep working week to week to be better as individually and as a collective unit. So I think that's what's really important as well, to build a winning culture in our team. We're not tankers.
I would rather bring in Cody Walker into a winning environment than into a losing environment. And I think it factors into our younger players too, because I said this last week with Terry, is that you need to start, like, the more games you win, the more benefits them for their future, because let's face it, like 10 years ago, Wiedering and Charlie and Harry, they walked into a club that had no idea where they were, and it affected them for like what 5 to 8 years of their careers. I don't want that. I don't want the same thing for Jagger, Wilson, and all that. And then again, like Andrew Walker, he was in a period where the club was on its knees. So again, like I don't want Walker in that same position, you know.
I don't think no one does, and it's ridiculous. People, and I talked about this. I did a rant about this. People that think that in round like 10 or 11, you're going to be tanking for the rest of the season to get a player. Like, what is wrong with you? Who does that? Who does that? No one does.
Melbourne did. Melbourne did 15 years
What,
ago.
for a whole season?
I think so. Yeah, probably.
No. No one does it for a whole season. You know how good you are. You know how good you have to be to tank. Like, you've actually got to be a good team to tank that bad.
It's
Like,
harder
come on, bro.
harder
Man,
to
it's
play.
not happening.
Harder to play well.
I'm telling you, you've got to play to a level where you look like you're not trying to lose. Like, no one does that, man. Maybe in the last game or two, you start resting players to get that last pick. I can understand, you know, but to do it. And then what kind of culture are you building? What kind of culture are you building?
Building
if
another
you start
losing culture.
every game. You can't be doing that. Even Cody Walker will be looking at that at the end of the year and going, do I really want to be here?
No,
Do I really want to be here?
yeah. Do I really want to, you know, do a repeat of what my dad went through?
You wouldn't have 4 weeks ago, but now he might have changed his tune, because 4 weeks ago he would have been questioning that for sure. And we asked him on Breakfast with the Blues, his dad at least, you know, do you believe in the culture of Carlton? And they said, yeah, we do. And I think that's shown in the last 4 weeks that there still is that winning mindset that we can develop. I don't think the club was tanking at all.
I think the big thing with the draft and the rules this year is there's potentially clubs that are going to pick him prior to us, which is great for us, because then if we get shifted back, we get another compensation pick this year. So we're talking about, we've got, you know, our pick plus Sydney's #1 pick, which is the 2 picks we'll need to get him. But I don't think that tanking is going to get us what we want. We just have to finish a year strong. You know, like, I don't want to talk up making the wild card round and all that bullshit, because at the moment we've got no right to talk like that. But if we make that from where we've been, sack the coach and make a fucking wild card appearance, mate, 95,000 at the fucking G, Carlton fans, fuck, we can embarrass some, you know, like.
Just on that point, I think, Rocco, you said on Tuesday, is that if we make the wild card, I think someone said, would you actually consider giving him the job? And I think that was Bo that asked you that question. You were adamant and you said, no, like, I wouldn't. But you said, unless he goes through the coaching process. And I think that's where everyone sort of agrees on that
Look,
point.
I'll stand by that. If we make the wild card, and even if he wins a final, like, don't get me wrong, his resume is going to be right up there, right? It's going to be hard to beat. But if you don't listen to the other people, like, you're negligent. You're just being, what is the harm in listening to these other people? And that's, for example, if he makes wild card, first of all, people aren't even going to attempt to go for the job, right? They're going to find it hard. But if someone comes up and goes, I want to put my plan out there, my proposal out there, and you go, oh, no, I don't want to listen to you. What's wrong with you, mate? We've been in this position before, bro. Like, listen to it. Listen to it.
I mean, not really. Like, he has been adamant. Like, even before, like, I saw a quote. Like, he got asked that same question again, and his answer's been consistent. No. So, again, like, it's not like, all right, if we make a wild card and win a final, and if he keeps saying no, then it's not
yeah. But
like
Wright and Davies brought him back to the club and knew that Voss was on counting time. So was this their master plan all along, that they knew they were going to get rid of Voss, and Wright and Davies intended him when they brought him back to the club to be the guy?
I doubt it.
But if he's not the guy, right, for next year, does he leave? or
No.
does he stay? Like is he still in? Does he have a contract with us past this year?
Yeah, he's got a contract, so he'll still stay as a because that's his spot. Like he's he's an assistant coach. He's just filling in a spot. If he goes for the job and doesn't get it, well, I don't know what he does. Like I don't know if he feels like he's got to leave and that, but it's interesting. I would still, as I said, I would be talking to anyone that wants to talk to us.
'Cause
Right?
then
What do
again,
you reckon, Vince? How you going first
Yeah.
of all?
Eating Vince.
G'day, boys. Good to see you
Hey.
all, and good to see so many of you wearing the beanie tonight to support the big freeze.
We've got heaters at home.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I've got the big beanie on. Nah, only kidding. But yeah, I think Carlton took the whole big freeze thing to another level tonight. I think they froze for the first half.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That's a good way of putting it, actually. Very good, very good. You
I-
must have
I-
been thinking of that joke for the whole time you were waiting to get on.
Oh, actually, sorry. Hang on. Now I've got different things to do here. Now.
Oh God.
I got to go, lads. So I'll let you go, eh?
Cheers,
All
All
Andy.
we
right,
go.
mate. Thank you very much. Andy,
I
and
come
we'll
on, you
speak to
gotta
you
go.
next time.
Yeah, guys.
Time to go!
Tonight, as usual, I'm brought to you by umpire Nick Foot, straight from Sportsbet.
Hey, listen, while we got you there, would you
While I'm on it,
like to hear the press conference while we're here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's put it up here.
Look how happy Vince is to beat Essendon. He loves beating the Bombers.
that's only
Oh,
because
he
my
loves
partner's a bomber. You know, if they had to kick one more goal and they got up, I would have had to wear Essendon cap here tonight.
Oh,
I was on a bet with
Oh,
her.
would you? Oh, yeah, because the Mrs. Essendon. Yeah, I like it. Nah, it's good. All right, let's hear what he had to say.
All right, let's have a listen.
Can you hear that?
No,
yeah.
Oh, you can't hear it.
nope.
I wonder why. Hold on. Why can't you hear that? I don't know why you can't hear it. You should be able to hear it.
No.
No.
That's weird. I don't know what to do then. If you can't hear it, I don't know what to do.
Was Bo able to help you out? I know he's up.
We'll see what Bo says. Are you there, Bo? If you can hear us, can you help me fix this? I don't know what's going on. So I'll stop it for now. And we'll why wouldn't you be able to hear it? All right, we've got to work it out. All right, I'll get Bo to work this out if he's still around. So we'll just go back. And yeah, we'll do that. So I don't know what's
Hey,
going
David.
on.
G'day,
All right,
Vincent.
keep going. If yeah, with the coaching, I mean, he's doing a good job at the moment. He's doing a really, really good job at the moment. We couldn't ask for anything else from a coach, eh?
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for anything else from a coach. Is he going to be our coach? I don't know. I've been burnt from the last process and the process before that, and I don't want to get burnt again. So I just want it to be done right and get the right person into the job. And if it means it's Fraser and he wants the job and he applies for it, because he's still got to apply for it, and he's the best candidate, yeah, you give it to him. But if there's someone else that's better,
Well, if he eventually says, oh, okay, I've coached enough now to realise that I think I might be ready now, so I actually do want to do the job, and he puts his hand up for it, and John Longmire says, well, I want it too. Which one are you going to go with?
Longmire, did you
If
say?
it was your decision, and it came out to either Longmire or Josh Fraser, and let's just say by the end of the year we've had, I don't know, 10 wins and we've made the top 10 and we've played in a final.
I'll take
I'd be
one.
inclined.
From 1 win and 8 losses, he's taking you into the finals. Do you give him the gig if he says he wants it, or do you give it to a John Longmire?
Ex-winning coaches don't achieve anything. I'd be inclined to go with Josh Fraser, to be honest. I don't want to see a Teague train too, but he's getting runs on the board. You could see even tonight the change that he made to the team. He's not sitting on his hands. He's being active, and it doesn't work going back to your Mick Malthouses, your Pagans and stuff. There's too much on there. But I mean, saying that, interim coaches that get senior coaching roles also are shown not to be successful as well. So it's one of those gambles. It's just going to depend on what direction they want to go. It's a tough decision.
Isn't it interesting that both David Teague and Josh Fraser were coaches of the Northern Bull Ants?
I love the Bull Ants,
or the Northern Blues, or whatever they were. But now they're actually the whole club's been shut down, dismantled, and it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, and a tragedy, and then a blight on Victorian sports. Sorry, Vince.
Last year was their last year in the VFL, and now this year they lost their license and got disbanded totally. Like, the club does not even exist anymore. Not even sure what they're going to do with the Preston City Oval anymore, down at Kramer Street.
I'd only go with Fraser unless I'd only get Fraser if he's a part of the coaching interview process. That's it. I don't want the club doing what they did with Teague and just hand him the job.
Exactly.
Like, without interviewing other people.
Well, that's what
got us in 3 years after.
You bring up a good point, Aidan. The board under Le Giudice just put Teague on. They didn't really put the job out there for anyone else in the end.
And it's not like we were doing great under Teague. Like, I don't look at the
we
game.
won 6 out of 11. We won 6 out of 11, and I think that provided the sugar hit that everyone was hoping for, because we had only won 3 out of our past 33 games under Bolton.
Fuck, wow.
Including one of the first 11 in 2019 before he got the sack. And the whole of the previous year, he only won 2 out of 22. So effectively a season and a half, 33 games, and we won 3 and lost 30.
But Lyon didn't want to go through the process at all. If we'd put Lyon on as the coach and didn't put him through the process, where do you think we would be now with Lyon as our coach? Do you think we'd be in the same?
Does anyone know? It's an impossible question to answer.
You don't know. You see what he's doing with St Kilda. I mean, like even today's game, I mean, that was...
I'll tell you one thing. He would have been tactically far better than Michael Voss.
He would have been better than Voss.
Miles better.
I think almost anyone's better than Voss, to tell you the truth. But
I'm talking from a strategic and tactical point of view.
Well, we would have been defensively stronger, but I mean, it wouldn't have helped with Harry and our forward line structure would have been suffering as well. Would we have retained our TDKs and Kernos under Line? Who knows? That's the big dilemma. But I mean, that's why the process is so important, that we need to go through and find out what positives and negatives each person putting their name up has, and then it becomes a gamble, regardless whichever way you go.
Yeah, well, would Ross Lyon have given us a flag, but
no,
I don't think so. No chance. No. He's definitely he would have been the wrong person. At the end of the day, you know what's funny about Teague? When we gave the job to Teague, I want to know, did we just give him the job, or was there any other people interviewed?
That feels better.
That's what I want to know, Vince. When we gave the job to Teague, what happened there? Did we just give it to him, or was there anyone else? Essentially,
yes, because there was such a fan-based movement. You know, they even named it the Teague train. Jump on the Teague train. Is everyone on board the Teague train? You know, toot, and all this business. Even the players were doing it. So they wanted him. Everyone wanted him. All the fans wanted him. And I think because in the last 11 games of 2019, he brought a far more attacking brand of football. It was free-flowing. It was, great football to watch. But that was as an interim coach with a team that had been essentially, played in a very defensive manner by Brendan Bolton. He was coaching just to minimise the magnitude of the losses rather than actually coaching to win. And Teague turned that all around. And the other thing he did is he played people in their positions. I'll never forget, there were all sorts of players. Ed Curnow was played into all sorts of crazy positions. He ended up playing back on the ball. Cripps, in his first game back under the interim coach, played a blinder against the Brisbane Lions. I don't know if you remember that game at Marvel Stadium. He got about
that was one of the great
nearly
games.
40 possessions, kicked 5 goals, and probably one of the best games he's ever played. So, it's the usual sugar hit when you get a brand new interim coach and all that, but it is a bit of a trap if you don't put them through the process and see how they measure up compared to the other alternatives. So by all means, I'd say give it to Josh Fraser too, but let's make sure that it goes right through the process before we say yes to him.
So what you're seeing on game day, Vince, is positive about Josh Fraser and what he's actually doing, how he's
conducting I've been himself. Very impressed so far.
Yep.
And I don't know what he said to them at half time, but it's better than what Michael Voss has ever said to them at half time because they came out with a far more hungry attitude towards the ball than what I saw in the first half. In fact, look, I'll be honest, tonight I don't think we deserve to win. I really don't. I think Essendon's problem is that they have lost the art of knowing how to win. They've only won one game in over 12 months. And it was one of those games where we were right for the picking. Any other side, probably other than Richmond, would have nailed us to the cross tonight because we were very ordinary for the first half. Like really, really ordinary. I was thinking we are as bad as we were under Voss in the first 9 games of the year in that first half.
On that, Vince, I mean, we saw the roar after the game last week. What was the feeling in the stands tonight at halftime and post game?
Well, I think at halftime, it's only 14 points. It's by no means any sort of match-winning lead. Everyone probably knew that if we could just step it up a bit, we could make up that margin pretty quickly, and we did in the third quarter, to the point where it was scores even at 3/4 time. So really, the whole match was determined by who could finish better in the last quarter. I think Essendon people were even. I was sitting in the Essendonians seating area tonight, right behind the goals at the city end, and you could just tell that they were a bit nervous going into half time, thinking, we've had by far and away the better half, but we're only 14 points in front. And they let us in for some late ones in that second quarter. And I think when they had the momentum going in that second quarter, they just couldn't sustain it for the rest of that quarter. They let us in for a couple. And that's where, in the end, it made a big difference. It's a little bit like our preliminary final of 2023. We kicked the first 5 goals of the first quarter. If we had gone in with that 5-goal lead, I think it would have made a big difference to the whole result because we let Brisbane in for a couple of goals towards the end of that first quarter, if you recall.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, 3 goals doesn't feel that much. But if you go in with 5 or 6 goal lead, it feels a hell of a lot better. So I thought that, and I know that no game is determined by one decision alone, but that umpiring decision to give Kemp a free kick on the boundary line, which he ended up kicking the ball through for a goal at the punt road end in that last quarter, I thought that was one of the most disgraceful decisions I've ever seen on a football field. That was just pathetic.
I think it would have
for a game of football the scores were even at the time, I think, or maybe there was a point in it or something, and I just thought that turned the game.
The impact
they were very, very harshly done by with that decision. That was barely touching the bloke. I
Oh,
think
the
the Carlton
impact-
player milked it.
He,
And I
he
suppose-
impacted the fence and almost drew blood. And the guy did generally push him after the event, so it was there. It was there.
Come on, Dave. If
I'll
that was
take it.
the other way around, we would be absolutely baying for blood.
Which one?
But look, at the end of the day,
Which one are you talking about?
The Essendon player made the mistake of making contact with the Carlton player, barely, but he milked it. There's no question. And
Which one are you talking
that's
about?
that's where the Essendon player was stupid for even putting his hands on him. The
No,
one
we
Which
where
one are
didn't.
you
Kemp kicked the
talking
goal,
about?
the one that Kemp kicked the ball through for a goal from the boundary line at the punt road end.
Yeah, what about it?
Ah, come on, man. That decision.
Come on,
was
man.
terrible.
All right, you want to talk about that one? What about the one where the ball was kicked to the foul line? It was in the square, and Kemp pushed him on the side, and he didn't get a free kick. Why don't we talk about that one? Forget about that one there. Why don't we talk about that one there?
All I'm
But if
saying
you
is,
look at the one on the boundary, sorry to say, Vince, I saw it on the screen. If you saw it, it was late, and he's pushed him into the fence, right? So
okay.
we
I'm
can't
only
be
making
talking.
the point.
I don't want to talk.
I don't like
All
games
I
of
want to
football.
say is we don't want to. I don't want to say that we played a
don't like
great
games of
game,
football
but to
being
say
determined
we
by that.
didn't deserve that win, right, is ridiculous because they didn't play that great. But in the second half, we kicked like something like 7 goals, 5. We turned it around, right?
Yep.
We outran them. We kicked goals, and we won the game when we shouldn't have won it. That, like, to say we didn't deserve to win and Essendon deserved to win it, and then you come along and you say, oh, that kick on the boundary. I watched it on TV, right? And I'll tell you, there's 3 or 4 free kicks that we either didn't get, right, or should have got, right, that would have turned the game. So the one with Kemp, it was directly in front, right? He's pushed him, and he's taken the mark, and the bloke said, and he said that it wasn't a free kick, whatever it was, you know what I mean? Or he gave it a free kick for pushing in the back when he didn't even go in the back. What about that kick there? That would have been another
I'm
goal.
struggling to think of the example that you're bringing up.
Well,
I
I'm
can't
telling you
recall.
the example. So to say that he didn't deserve it, that was stupid by the Essendon player. He should never have pushed him into the thing. Right?
Yeah, but this is Rocco. You're not listening to me. I'm saying to you this, right? Yes, it was stupid of the Essendon player to have touched him. Why? Because these days umpires pay those free kicks even though they're not
You
deserved.
can't push someone into the fence, Vince.
Oh, come off it. Get fucked. He did not push him into the fence.
He
He
pushed
did.
him into the fence. What are you talking about?
Shit.
Did you see it on TV?
Oh, come off it.
He pushed
He did
him
it.
into
He did
the
it over
fence.
the line.
bro.
He pushed him with 2 hands,
Absolutely milked
and he
it.
slammed into the wall, and he
Oh,
drew
come
blood.
on.
He did. That's
Nah, he
what
didn't
happened.
draw blood, but he
He
could
was.
be
He was bleeding from
dangerous.
his
You
shoulder.
can't- Listen,
He
Vince,
was.
just because he didn't hurt
All right.
himself, you can't be
I
pushing
just
a
don't
player.
like football games being influenced and to some degree, you could argue, determined by umpiring decisions that are soft like that.
The
That's
game
all.
wasn't determined
I
by
don't like
umpiring
it.
decisions
I don't care
tonight.
whether it's in our favour or whether it's not in our favour. I'm fair-minded when it comes to that. I just don't like umpiring decisions getting in the way of determining who ends up winning a really
Thank
close
you.
contest
Don't tell
like
me that tonight's game was determined on umpires.
Well, all
It
I'm
was
saying is
determined by our
that was
skill
a
level.
crucial decision that led to a goal that I thought made a big
Mate, you know what I want you to
contribution
do? I want
the
you to
outcome.
watch the game again and watch
All
our stream with Bo and see
All right.
how many times, right, that the umpires were terrible both ways. And now you're picking one decision. We shouldn't even be bringing that one
No.
up.
Umpires
That's
in general.
ridiculous.
It was.
Alright.
It was our fundamental skills that were that were horrendous
Exactly.
in the first half.
I've got a feeling
then
that
we
because
corrected
the
that.
teams, I've got a feeling that because the teams were positioned 15th and 18th on the ladder, that's why we were given the dregs of whatever they have in their umpiring department to adjudicate this game. But you know,
Umpiring was terrible, Vince, but it was terrible on both ends.
no. Anyway, I don't like it. I don't like it when games of football have crucial umpiring decisions that that determine in the end who wins,
didn't
because when
determine the
it's a close
game.
contest like that.
This is what I don't like. If you say to me
Oh.
that free kick could have been there and it could not have been there, I'll agree with you. If you're telling me that decision determined the game,
I didn't
And the-
say it determined the game. I said it went a long way towards giving Carlton a big advantage when
no,
in the
never.
end, I don't think that decision was
He shouldn't
warranted.
have pushed
That's all.
him. He shouldn't have pushed him
And at
into
the
the
time, the
fence.
scores were pretty much level.
But
So
the
you
other
shouldn't
thing
have
you're
pushed
missing,
him.
Vince, the other thing, Vince, is he kicked a goal that was very, very difficult to kick after missing easy ones. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that's,
it was a
that's
decision,
typical
but
Kemp, isn't it?
exactly. But the decision that he got the free kick it wasn't like an easy a gimme goal kind of thing. He had to still finish the effort. So
I
it
know.
didn't determine the game because it was just one of those decisions.
Okay, but he had an opportunity to have a shot for goal.
Yeah.
When in my view, it shouldn't have happened. That opportunity to have the goal should not have even been
Again,
given.
the one
That's
with Kemp when he pushed him on
You
the
can disagree
side
with
and
me,
he
that's
gave
fine.
him. But what about the one with Kemp where he pushed him on the side and he gave a kick
I
for
told
him
you
the
already.
back?
I can't recall the.
Well,
example
I'm telling you,
you're
I saw it, and you didn't even.
Okay.
You haven't even had a close look at that decision on the
talking
boundary.
about. Okay, all right.
Where were
And-
you? Where were you sitting?
Right behind the goals at the punt road end.
And
No,
you
not the
saw
front row
that,
end,
and
the,
you saw that decision.
Sorry, the city end. Sorry.
And you saw that decision. I saw it on screen. And after the ball, after he went up, as he grabbed the ball and he's gone over the boundary line, he's pushed him and he's ran into the fence. I don't understand how that is not a free kick.
Okay.
All right, Vince, one of the decisions earlier on in the game was when Harry was in the ruck in the middle and the umpire said that he'd gone across the line. They got the ball. They quickly sent it to the forward line, and I'm pretty sure they scored after it. And that, again, it was one of those innocuous decisions by an umpire, which, well, did it determine the game? Yes or no? Were we actually wrong? You take what you get in those kind of decisions. It's more
Sure.
about what the players are doing with their errors, their turnovers, their lack
Sure.
of marks, their lack of tackles. They're
Of
the
course. And
things
that's
that
what a
determine
coach-
the game.
And that's what a coach would point to. They wouldn't point to the umpiring decisions. They'd say,
Except if
"Well,
it's
hang on,
risk off.
that's just one decision in 300 decisions in a game of football." We made lots of decisions that coughed up the ball or turned it over or whatever, and both sides made some horrible errors when it came to turning the ball over. There were more turnovers there tonight than what you'd find at the Beechworth Bakery. But both sides turned it over that many times, and some of the kicking to targets was appalling. But
Absolutely.
what do you expect to two teams that are down in the bottom six of the ladder? So
Exactly.
anyway, look, we got away with it. We end up banking the 4 points. It's a bit like the Richmond game. You sort of say, geez, did we deserve it? Didn't we deserve it? But at the end of the day, in the history books, it's going to go down as a 5-point win to Carlton, and you bank the 4 points, and
Absolutely.
we've won every single game under this interim coach so far. And if he keeps going at this rate, we may very well make the finals.
I don't think we got away with it. I don't think it was a great game. And we were saying this earlier on when we got on, right? Sometimes you just got to win the game, right?
Yep.
We had a tough game last week. We come in, we're probably a little bit like, we took it a little bit easy, that Essendon, bottom of the ladder, and they actually, we got to give them credit. They actually played a good first half, Essendon, right?
They did.
But you've got to give credit to, and don't get me wrong, I think we're anywhere where, like we are where we are. We're in the middle
If we play that standard of football against GWS, which is in 2 weeks' time, when we
by 12 goals.
Yeah, we'll get done, right?
We won't get anywhere close to them.
That's not going to stand up against.
But what if
quality
we
opposition.
play the brand of football we played against Geelong?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're up there. Then I mean, you will probably win or you might lose.
I was saying, what about Sydney today? Did they get away with one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, St Kilda should have won.
Are they crying about it, or are they saying we got it? We took the 4 points. You say they got away with one, but at the end of the game they were in front.
That's all.
That's all that matters. And the same with us. I think the second half showed a lot of character by the Blues.
Well, the other thing is
I think
Josh
it showed
Fraser's
a lot of character, man. A lot of the players stood up. We went from first half terrible, where we started to move the ball quicker, we started to do a lot of the things we were doing last week in
I'll
the
tell
second
you.
half.
I'll tell you who had a really poor first half, as far as I was concerned. The bloke that's probably been flying the flag for the last 3 weeks is Paddy Cripps. You know, he hardly sniffed it in the first half, but then he came out in the second half and he played very well. But you know, that's what good sides do. They'll step it up, and all of a sudden pour on a bit of pressure, and force the opposition into turning the ball over and make them pay for it. And that's what we did. So
the other thing, I think Josh Fraser's been thrown to the deep end as an interim coach. Now having a bye, he's got a chance to do almost a Camp Curnow, take the players away, galvanise them a little bit, put his actual mark on the team, try to change the way they're playing and sort it out. And I think it's a really great opportunity for the team to come together as a unit under his leadership. And this will make him or break him a little bit, and also, make or break the team and the whole season. I think it's a great opportunity for the team to seize at the moment.
Be interesting to see whether he has an opportunity to take them away as a group or not, because they usually pretty much head straight up to, Noosa or some exotic place in Bali somewhere, or a lot of them end up going away for 4 days, 5 days just to get a bit of sun and get out of the cold Melbourne winter. But whether he takes them away when they come back, or whether he takes them away first and then lets them go away to Noosa, I don't know. He might not take them away at all. But
listen, let's see if I can.
Just a question. Would you have played Walsh today?
Why not?
You looked injured. You looked unfit. I would have probably rested him, to be honest with you, giving him that extra week.
He didn't play a shocker.
No, he didn't. But I'm just saying, you don't know, whether by him playing has sort of worsened that shoulder. I don't know. I mean,
the club.
All right.
I think the club must know more. I mean, you look at Jezza when he was playing for Geelong on Thursday night or wherever it was, and he looked obviously like he was struggling. But the team knows where he's at, and the same as with Walshy. I mean, that's what they're being paid for, is to make these determinations on players. If he wasn't fit to play, they wouldn't have played him. Same like Wiedering. Probably could have played if it was a cut and death game, but they rested him. So I don't think you would have seen him played for no reason. And Cooper Lord was in enough form that he could have come in, but Cooper played okay in VFL, but apparently his disposal was horrible. So I think you trust the people that are in those positions to make the right calls.
Yeah. What did you think of Jagger Smith's game tonight?
Again, in the first half, they were all terrible. I think he stepped up, especially in the last quarter. I think a lot of the players stepped up in the last quarter. I thought Cripper was really good in the last quarter. He stepped up when he needed to do. He was terrible for the first 3 quarters. I think Walsh wasn't good tonight. He was just there. But certain people stood up in the last quarter when we needed him.
I expect Cripps to stand up, but when we need him, though, I think that's standard. He has to do that.
I think Jagger didn't go missing in the first 3 quarters. He was still in the play. He was messy, but he didn't go missing. I think that was the key, that he was still giving it his all and he was still in the play, whereas before, when he was being hidden in the pocket, he was absent. So I think he was still in the fray, and I think he still did himself a service and then got into the game. So I think he still was one of our better players, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's using a lot more handball than he is kicking it. He certainly did tonight anyway, didn't he? I mean, I reckon he would have had double the handballs to what he had kicks.
Do you think that's being told to him because they don't trust his kicking skills as much just at the moment, so they're telling him to do that?
Well, you're not going to improve your kicking if you don't kick the ball. Let me have a look.
It's also...
It was 3 times more. 6 kicks and 18 hand passes for 24 possessions.
Maybe it's also...
Did not lay a tackle.
Maybe it's also a sign that we are running more around each other and that we're giving him something to handball to, whereas previously there was nothing there to handball to, so we just had to chuck it on the boot and hope for the best.
He had 3 clearances. You see, Meter's game was only 108. Now, that tells me he's just It's just basically when he gets it, he hand passes it most of the time. That's it. So he's a link-up player more than he is a real distributor and a real damaging deliverer of the ball.
Do you
know
think
what I mean?
it's? Do you think? I think David just said it now, but do you think it's because of the way that we are set up and the way that we play, which
Maybe.
forces him to hand pass more than kick?
Maybe. I mean, Cripps has always had that sort of ratio, to be honest, over the journey.
But would you prefer him to be dump kicking it forward or kicking it backwards? I mean, that's what I'm saying is that maybe that's what we were doing wrong before, is we weren't looking at those quick gives and link ups, and before we were just dumping it forward or moving it backwards or sideways, and that's what was horrible before to see.
Hey, do you want to see if we can listen to this now? Tell me if you can hear this. Let me just push this.
Josh must have been pleased.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Second half after a tough start.
Yeah, it was probably the start we expected. And all credit to Essendon and Solly, the way he set the game up and the spirit in which they played. It wasn't unexpected from our end, and it's another challenge for us and great learning around how to handle those occasions. And I didn't think we played particularly well tonight. And again, all credit to Essendon. They only allow you to play the way that the pressure they applied. But I thought, we're able to hang in long enough and then take some important moments in the second half. And we challenged ourselves around work rate at half time and our midfield getting to work a bit more. And it looked a bit better in the second half.
Mainly the forward entries. I mean, obviously contested ball and set of clears, but forward entries seemed to clear up after half time.
Yeah, we were a bit frustrated, certainly in the box, the way we were moving the ball inside 50. And I think that's an area of the game we've got a fair bit of work to keep doing. But it did look better after half time, and I think we were able to bypass a lot of their numbers at different stages and get some cleaner looks going inside 50 with space, and our forwards got to work a bit more. So, there's a template there for what it looks like when we're at our best. But again, that's an area of the game we've got more work to do in.
Talk about areas of the game that are on top of, particularly the first half, Josh. Contest and clearances where they dominated the game and had to make some adjustments. What were some of those conversations at half time to try and get that to shift in third term to get back into the contest? Yeah,
it's a great point. I mean, we spoke. There's some of the method around stoppage which we weren't loving, and Lee Adams has done a great job with our midfield. And again tonight, I thought the way he controlled that part of the game and made some adjustments. We sent Hewitt to Durham in the second half, and that had an impact. But it was largely around our method and making sure our starting points were really strong. And then I thought we coughed the ball up a lot in the first half as well. So we had to tidy that part of our game up. But credit to the players. They were met with some challenges. We did challenge them at half time and they responded really well. So that's another sign of us moving forward.
And that adjustment for the back end, was that included in those conversations? Because transitioning from your defensive part of the ground was also an issue with ball movement being a bit stagnant as well.
Yeah, I thought, from the transition aspect, I thought our fundamentals and our execution wasn't at the level we would expect, and that made it hard. It fed their game at different stages. I thought we set the field up reasonably well and we had options to move the ball, but we certainly weren't as clean as we would have liked to have been. But again, I thought the second half we were able to make a few adjustments in that space and we got more reward for effort moving the ball inside 50. But again, that's another part of the game I think we've got to become more consistent at.
Josh, you're 4-0. Can you believe it?
I haven't stopped to think too much about it, to be honest. I mean, I said when this opportunity arose that we were going to be very process-driven around what our Monday to Friday looks like and then give ourselves the best chance to perform on a weekend. And we've seen some big growth, but we're aware that we've got a long way to go. I haven't looked too far ahead. I haven't stopped to reflect too much other than what learnings can we take forward and how we get to work. And, I'm proud of the group with the inroads we've made. But again, we just had a team meeting then and we're all really aware that we've got work to do and we're not a finished product yet.
Do you think it's given players a huge boost though, given the back half of the season 4 weeks ago? You're kind of up in the competition again.
Yeah, it's definitely lifted morale. I think clearly winning does that, but there's a process attached to it as well. So I'd like to think that we're not fluking results at the moment. There's a considered approach to the way we're playing, and in particular, being able to win different ways, and that's what tonight presented. Again, I can't heap enough praise on Essendon and the way they attacked the game and the pressure they brought, and it challenged us in different ways, and we're able to manage that over the course of the game. But yeah, it's important to learn how to win and also manage winning and the expectation that comes with that. That's what we're learning to do.
Several of the challenges tonight coming as a supposed favourite for the first time.
Yeah, it was a different, not so much a different approach, but there was an awareness that that was real. So the noise around that, and then trying to keep ourselves very process driven and control what we could. We had a high awareness of what Essendon would bring. And again, you've got to be good enough to combat that and play the way you want to play. So there's so many learnings that come out of tonight, and it's great to be able to do that with 4 points.
What do you make of the battle between the Mackay twins?
Yeah, hard to speak a lot about Ben, but what I do know about Harry is he's had some really big moments for us in the last, it's easy to say month because we've got results, but I think his game has been threatening to open up for a while, and going into the ruck, I think, has helped him. He looks more than competent in there, and he's able to give Pitto some rest, and Pitto's carried a big load for us. But Harry's aerials presence, his ability to kick goals, again, being able to go into the ruck, I just think his game looks more rounded. But he's another experienced player that will challenge to keep getting better and finding ways to improve. But I thought his game tonight was really important, and he's leading as well. He's making others around him better.
He went down to the back line in the third quarter. Was that a direction from you, or did he just go there just to play on his brother?
I think he just found himself down there at that stage. But, I mean, it's a sign of someone that's playing with a level of confidence to go back and support. And, yeah, I just think his game at the moment looks in good order.
What are you making progress of guys like Taylor Byrne, Jagger, Billy Wilson?
Yeah, really exciting. And again, it's been so important that we've had experienced players leading and playing well, so our inexperienced and youth can come into the team and play roles. I think their development's been really exciting. I think the best part about them is their resilience in games where it might not be clicking for them straight away, but they're having really important moments. Very team orientated, all of them. And they've got a want and an appetite to bring pressure and energise their teammates. So, yeah, I think the break's coming at a good time for our young guys, and we expect them to bounce into the club when we return and keep getting better.
Talking about heading into the bye, Josh, has it come at a good time? Because when you have momentum like you've got over the last month, that momentum can stay you when you return. There's the possibility of being flat, the energy not as high. So what do you do to harness that in the next couple of weeks to ensure when you do return that you're playing at the level that you have been over the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, it's a good observation. Look, we just spoke there about how we handle the break, and it's important our players get away and get a chance to recharge and refresh, and they'll go about that in a really professional manner. But it's an opportunity for them to be better prepared for when they come back to the club. It's also a chance for our staff to refresh. Our coaching group and our high performance team and our footy department more broadly have done a power of work, and they deserve to get a few days back and re-energise. But it is important we handle this break well. There's a level of trust there that we will. There's a level of trust that when we return to the club, we're going to be energised to get working again.
3 good performances at VFL level today. Cottrell was very good. There's a couple of others that you would have been happy with. Are they pressing for selection as well? Zach Williams, one of them.
Yeah, there's guys pressing for selection. There's no doubt, and we're experimenting. We're trying some players in different roles, and we're trying to find different avenues for players to come into the team. The pleasing thing is that the players currently in the AFL side are holding up their end of the bargain and playing well. The challenge for guys playing at VFL level is to continue to perform well on a weekend, but also train incredibly well. That's another way to perform, and we're driving our training standards as hard as we are what we expect game day. So it is pleasing to see guys at VFL level perform, and the expectation will be we continue to do the same. Yeah, I think his shoulder's just been a bit grumbly. He's someone that'll, appreciate that a couple of days to recharge, but he came back onto the field and he's as tough as nails. He had a terrific start to the season for us, and he's led the way beautifully. So This time of year, most players are carrying some soreness, but no, he's okay.
You're not going to put pen to paper on a contract during the bye?
Me?
Coaching?
No. I've got no plans to do any of that. I've got some plans to try and get back to the farm at Mansfield and spend a couple of days up there and recharge a little bit. But no plans other than that. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Well, there you go.
Who was he talking about at the end that had a sore shoulder?
Walsh.
Okay.
I was saying about that, and they were saying that in the broadcast that he's got a bit of a sore shoulder. To tell you the truth, if he's got a sore shoulder, they shouldn't have played him, but he seemed to have got through the game.
He did go down in the rooms, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hang on. Did he go into the game with a sore shoulder, or did he get it because he played the game and
last week? It was from last week.
That's why I said, would you have played him tonight?
Yeah, I agree, and I actually
well, Akers' shoulders are cooked. Why would you play him?
Yeah, but Akers is like he's like bloody a Lasto man. He just like he'll come back no matter what, you know. But as far as Walsh,
well, you could also make an argument that if Walsh doesn't play, we lose the game.
Maybe, but then you bring in Cooper Lord. I mean, he's been playing well in the reserves. I mean, he would have probably. I mean, I don't think Walsh
not flash the last couple of weeks. Not flash.
Last week he got like 29 and goals. I think. I don't know what he did today. Last week, Cooper Lord was probably one of our best players in the reserves.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Regardless, we were playing against Essendon, and we should have done a lot better tonight. Regardless, with on paper.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought a lot of players were down. A lot.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what? I was saying this before, Vince. Everyone was going, we should beat Essendon by 10 goals. We should beat them by 40 points and all this, right? Why? Well, what have we shown to say that we are capable of beating teams by 10
it's
goals?
because, A, we've won 3 in a row before tonight's game. Secondly, the game against Geelong got everyone all excited all over again, thinking we're going to smash Essendon by 10 goals. I don't know if you watched my prediction on Blue Sunday last week. I said Carlton by 8 points. I said I expect this to be a close game. And one of the reasons for it also is because we've been up now for 3 weeks, and at some point you have that bit of a downer. And I thought it's going to be a big game for them. You know, home game, all of that. Against us, they're coming off a loss to, was it West Coast last week?
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought, Solomon's not going to put up with that shit. He's gonna have them revved up for this game.
And this is what I'm saying.
I just think the only reason why Essendon did not win tonight was because they have forgotten how to. That's it. Any other side would have beaten us.
Maybe yes, maybe no. But again,
any other side would have beaten us.
You don't know that, but what I'm saying is, I'm not. I'm just. I don't get this attitude by people now, right? 4 weeks ago we sacked the coach and we were 1-8, right? So I'm taking a 4-week period now, right? So we have a good win against Doggies. Yep, they're a bit injured, but they're still a good side. We beat Port over there. Good effort. We smashed Geelong. When I mean smash them, we beat Geelong, right? Then we come up against Essendon.
We didn't smash them.
Well, in a way we did, because they couldn't even get near us. I mean, they got near us in the scoreboard, but we absolutely outplayed them last week. But anyway,
sure.
This week we play Essendon, right? Which are at the bottom. They're always going to come back. I mean, Sydney had a down. You're going to have down games. But what we did in the second half, you've got to take that into account and say, we played a shocking first half, right? But in the second half, we turned it around, even though it was against Essendon. Essendon actually played a good first half. They were running the ball.
Should have been in front by 6 goals.
They should have, but they weren't. So then what did we do?
Exactly my point.
I wouldn't say it was good or pretty.
But we've done that many of times during the 8-9 weeks prior to that.
And they're in the same predicament as what we were like in the first 9 rounds.
I don't want to hear that they should have won the game. We were lucky. No. In the second half, we did what everyone's been saying we should be doing. In the second half, every time we played in those losses, right? Everyone was saying the same thing. Why didn't we change the game plan? Why didn't we move players? Why didn't we do this? So now we do it and we go, oh, it's still not good enough. We should have won one goal.
No, I'm not saying that. I gave, if you remember, when you first asked me,
Not
I
just
said,
you. I'm just saying in general now.
Hey?
I'm not saying you particularly, kind of you a little bit, but not you. I'm just saying in general, people go, it was pathetic.
Yeah.
But yet we turned the game around, right?
Yeah.
We started to play. We put the game on our terms, right?
Yes.
We started to kick goals. We kicked 7 goals to like 4 in the second half. But yet people still, what did you want from Carlton? Like this is where we are.
Listen,
this is where we are. I think it was a good performance.
What we proved is that we're a mature enough team now
Exactly.
to be able to recognise that we're not having a great night. We're actually a bit down on our usual, output, but it's not like the game's run away from us. If we just up our intensity a bit, we can get the game back on our terms and we can do just enough to get away with this. And I think it was one of those wins where you just walk away and say, we banked the 4 points. We didn't play great footy. We won ugly, whatever you want, whatever terms you want to use. But we did what we had to do to win it. And that's where I guess I give us the biggest tick is that we managed to find a way, right? Even though we weren't playing our best football, and even though a better team would probably have beaten us tonight.
Probably, but if my grandma had balls, she'd be my grandfather. Like you could say that, but you don't know what's going to happen. You say, if you play like that, a better side. But maybe the better side wouldn't have been playing as well either. Like what happened to Geelong last week and what happened to Port the week before, Like I know what you're saying. That first half wasn't a good performance, right? It was a terrible performance. But I am happy the way we turned it around and won this game.
I agree. And before the game on paper, when you size up the two teams, we were a better team in better form, but we were playing poorly in the first half. But the fact that we didn't do what we did 6 weeks ago and fall on our sword and be destroyed, but we actually got our stuff together and managed to get the win out. That's 4 wins in a row. So that's a positive. And the fact that we didn't blow the game regardless of the opposition, doesn't matter. We still didn't give it up. And that's a positive for the team. So hats off.
I think I said before, like when Vince joined, is that if this game was coached by Voss, we would have lost it by like 5 or 6 goals. I don't think we would have come back the way that we did. Because, again, like normally we'd go full guns blazing the first half and the second half would fade out. And we saw that this time around last year when we played the Bombers as well, if you remember.
I agree. And there was
I agree too, Aiden. Well put.
I think we did some little things in the second half that impressed me a lot and will do wonders for the future. You know what I mean? The way we've been controlling the game in the last 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, I think's been great in the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And we've done two close wins where Aiden is right. We probably would have lost those games 5 or 6 weeks ago.
I think the Richmond game that we won is probably similar to this game as well when it comes to how the fans have reacted to a point. Like, what difference is this win compared to that Richmond win as well? Because Richmond were like, well, shit, we shouldn't have won that. Like, most disgusting win I've ever seen. This win, like, people are like, you just need a win. Like, it doesn't matter.
Because I think we're in a different situation now, Aiden. I think now after the 4 weeks we've had, I think this win's a lot better than the Richmond one was. Like it was round 2. Like
you know why you feel like that? Because it's actually inverted. The Richmond game, we played a really good first half, and then we only kicked 1 goal in the entire second half.
Yeah,
Tonight was the exact opposite. Our first half was terrible, and because we came home pretty well, you feel better about it because
Well,
the
we
second
came
half
from
we
behind.
improved.
Vince. We came from behind and won the game.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You feel better because you came from behind and you actually improved in the second half and won the
Yeah.
game tonight.
Remember-
Against
remember-
Richmond, it was the other way. We played our really good half in the first half. I think
And
we had
then
about a
just saved
five-goal lead at
Yeah.
halftime against Richmond. Then all of a sudden, we could only put one goal on the whole. Like I think there was a goal by Zach Williams with about 5
Yeah,
minutes to
that's
go.
it. That was
Yeah,
It was
you're
the
right.
only goal we got in the second half.
Was
And
that?
Richmond just could not put us away. And Tom Lynch, fucking God, what
Favour.
was it? Two goals, 7 and 2 out of bounds. So,
Yeah, it was a completely different feeling. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I don't think we are the finished product. I don't think we're going to
No.
all of that. I think we've got a lot of work to do. But I think it was a gutsy win tonight. Mate,
You
we're
know
not
what?
giving enough credit to Essendon the way they
Yeah.
came out. Remember, they can put together a game like this. They did it against Melbourne. They
Yeah,
can
I
just
was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, you can't take Essendon lightly. They bet Melbourne. They gave it to GWS. I think they gave it to another team as well. Like, you can't take Essendon lightly, even though they've won, one game in the past 200 games. You can't take them lightly.
That's right.
Vince,
I agree.
Vince.
I agree.
They've got
Vince,
they've got decent talent as well.
Vince, watching on telly is a bit difficult. Can you tell us, when you're in the stands, watching Pito's game tonight, how he moved around the field, how he impacted the game? To us, he looked like he was struggling again, and he has for a few weeks. Can you tell us from your perspective in the stands how he performed tonight?
It was fucking atrocious.
Okay. Well, look, I didn't think he had much of an impact on the game. He did look like he was just lumbering out there. I think that there's a very significant thing that happened in the last couple of weeks, which tells us whether Pitnet's got a big future or not. And that is the recruitment of Flynn. Is it Flynn Ryan?
Yeah, I think
Riley,
so.
Riley,
Riley, sorry.
or something, yeah.
Flynn Riley. And as our mid-season draftee. And by the way, he's been blitzing it in the VFL already with how many tap outs and whatever. I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Flynn Riley actually gets a game before the end of this season in the seniors.
Wow.
And I think that it's probably worth doing, just to see maybe whether this young guy's got what it takes at AFL level, because I don't think Pitnet's got much of a future beyond maybe next year.
So do you think that?
When's his contract come to an end? Next year?
I'm not sure. It might be next year or the year after, but
No, it's not the year after. It's either this year or next year.
I don't know. But do you think then it's because of the new ruck rule now that's
I
going to
think that's
affect?
done him a big disservice. Yeah, because you
You know what I
can't you can't maneuver your body and wrestle with him anymore. It's all this sort of coming together, jump up, and whoever's the most athletic, generally gets the tap out.
I'm sorry, but if Pitternet is getting beaten comfortably by, who was the ruck that was Essendon's ruck? I don't even know who he is. Like, exactly,
Yeah.
like no one knows who he is. Like, good on him for playing a good game, but like if you're getting beaten by a ruck who I'm assuming has gotten injured, because I've never seen him play before, in his probably second or third game of the year. That's Pitternet.
Well, they had Nick Bryan, number 24, and they had Lachlan Blackiston, which is number 46. Between them, they had 31 hitouts, 22 to Bryan and 9 to Blackiston. And Pitnet had 23 and Harry Mackay had 2. So they certainly got more tap outs. How many of them were to advantage? How many clearances they had compared to us? I'm not 100% sure. But, Pitnet was hardly what you'd call a dominant ruckman.
The tap outs were effective because in that first quarter, every time they were tapping it out, their midfield got a clearance out of it. It looked like they were going to score. Well, when with us, like Pitnet was just, I don't know what Cruz is doing with him, because the amount of times that he's crossed the line and stuffed up on that rule and all that, like you think that Cruz has probably needs to.
Well, even with clearances, Essendon won that 35-28, and centre clearances they won 13-8.
And you don't even have to look at
the clearances 22-20 were pretty even, but but centre
You don't even
clearances
have
were
to-
mainly where they won.
You don't even have to look at the numbers. Just by looking at it, you could see they were winning the clearances, especially the centre clearances. That's where they were killing us. And we came back a little bit in that last quarter, and that was the difference. But that's interesting with Pitternet, because to tell you the truth, Harry looks like the better ruckman at the moment.
Aidan, I can unequivocally tell you that Cruiser is not the problem. Everyone who's working with Cruiser, everyone raves about what he's doing with them. It's not necessarily the guy, the voice. It's the clay that he's got, unfortunately. So Cruiser is over the new rules and everything, and everyone raves about what he's doing with the Cruiser club. So seriously, I think it's more on the individuals, same as with O'Keefe as well. And hopefully, the new season recruit is the answer. But Cruiser knows his stuff. I can assure you that.
It's interesting, Rocco Moro. Thanks for the $5. Champion all the way from Perth. The result could be the perfect tonic for the GWS game. At least we're not going into the game drinking their own bathwater. That could be very true. This could be I was saying this earlier on. I was going, I'd rather win and learn a lesson than lose and learn a lesson. So I think they're going to learn something tonight about tonight's game, not go into next week's game so confident, and they're going to want to get back because, as I said, 16 tackles in the first half. Their mind was not in it. Their mind was not in it. You don't do 16 tackles in the first half,
The pressure meter must have been down around 130, I reckon.
It was because
it was shocking.
Andy, who came on before, said that at one stage the pressure meter on both teams was about 120, 130. That's disgusting. There was more pressure in this room than there was on the ground. There was no pressure at all. But that's, again, I think Carlton went in with the wrong mindset, and I hope that they're going to highlight this and go, I don't care who you're playing. You've got to go in and do the fundamentals. And he did mention that at halftime. He goes, what's going to be the change when they interviewed him? And he goes, we're just going to try to get the fundamentals right. And we're just going to try to do the basics right, which he must have been thinking too. Hey, guys, you're not doing what we're meant to be doing here. You're not doing it because they started. Like, I don't know what you saw at the ground. To me, it just looked like back to the old Carlton. They were kicking the ball long.
That's what I said to you. It looked like we were playing like that same Carlton that played in the first 9 rounds.
Yeah. But
I always thought, funny, it under Fraser, my actual feeling was I can see us coming back and winning this game. At half time, I was not worried. I was not worried in the slightest about the 14-point lead. So long as we came out and started to apply ourselves a bit, I knew that we were going to end up, matching it with them again.
I agree.
The one area I think. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say I totally agree because I felt exactly the same. I felt like we're still going to win this game, but it's going to be a close game. And I think someone put in the chat while we're doing the watch, I go, what do you think? And I said, I think we'll win, but it's going to be under a goal now. And exactly what happened. I just felt like we could win, but we just got to get back to what we were doing, And I thought, if we get back to what we did last week, we're good enough to win this game. And exactly what happened,
But it wasn't even the bombs that you said. I mean, I remember a situation in the first half where Haynes on the wing had a simple 20-meter kick and put it at the guy's feet, and we turned it over and they went down the other end. It was those simple errors of that was just so easy.
Those were the sorts of things that started to remind me of Carlton in the first 9 weeks. The short kicks that should be hitting a target lace out were going to their shoelaces, stuff like that.
So
by the way, on the contested ball tonight, we got murdered. 132 to 107 in contested possessions, and contested marks 15 to 5.
Yep.
5 contested marks for a whole game. And I reckon most of those would have been Harry.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm telling you, especially in that first half, they smashed us, They were, as you said, they contested marks.
And by the way, where Essendon stuffed up, and I could see it perfectly from my angle, because where I was looking at the game from behind the goals at the City end, it's almost like, you know, that down the ground footage that they sometimes show you on those AFL shows, and they show you the down the ground footage, and they can highlight little players and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I could see it so well. They did not use Nate Caddy well at all tonight. The amount of times
No,
they kicked
they
it
didn't.
over his head,
Even last
over
week
his
too.
head, over his head. He was getting so frustrated because of the delivery. And they totally didn't, like, I think he only might have got a goal or two towards the end. He had a shocker of a game, but not because he wasn't trying, because they weren't delivering it to him. They lost that game because they did not use their most potent player in the way that they should have. And really, those Essendon players that were in possession of the ball and could have delivered it better into forward 50, that's where they lost the game, in my view. All credit to Harry Dean, played a really good game as well.
Harry Dean did well.
But
That matchup,
geez, they made life tough for Caddy. Really, really
that
tough.
matchup between him and Caddy for 10, 15 years, it's going to be fucking beautiful to
Yeah, it's
watch.
going to be a good matchup.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be like, when I
It's
when
gonna
I
be a good
looked at
matchup.
that, I'm like, fuck, here we go.
Thanks
Yeah.
to Oz for the 1 TJP membership. Thanks, mate. You're a star.
Vince, can I ask you a
yeah.
question?
Yeah, go for it.
Why do we take this rivalry more seriously than what we do with Collingwood? I don't understand why.
So can I just ask you to repeat that? Why do we or why don't we?
Like, why don't we take the Collingwood rivalry as serious compared to what we do with the Essendon rivalry? Because the build up to it is like the club can't stand them. The players tonight, like they were throwing, jumper punches and all that. I love to see that. But when it comes to Collingwood, it's like that, we're scared and we don't really take that rivalry as serious.
Well,
That's
I've
just from my
got a feeling that there's two things at play here. I don't necessarily agree with you that the clubs or the fans don't take it seriously. You're talking more about the players?
Yeah, the club and the players, like the supporters, we take
Right.
that shit like personal. But like the club, no.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a little bit of Essendon's not playing well. They've been down near the bottom of the ladder for a little while, and I think that's what gives you some false confidence that all of a sudden you can bully them around because you think that they're just as bad as us, if not worse. Whereas Collingwood has had our measure for years now. So we are almost a bit intimidated as a team against Collingwood because we have hardly beat them. I think we might have beat them once in the last maybe 6 or 7 occasions.
Yeah.
So I think that Collingwood almost feels like, in fact, when we played Collingwood earlier this year, that was the game with the Elijah Hollands saga. They were waiting for us to knock them out. I mean, they were playing terrible in that game. Yeah. I thought that if we were any sort of team, should have won that match. And yet, Nick Dacos puts on 10 minutes of brilliance at the start of the last quarter. And
not even
game over.
Well, 4 minutes.
Well, it wasn't even game over, really, because we fought back and almost drew the game. But the point is, they were ripe for the picking that night. They were not in good form. They were not playing well. Their stars were well held up until the last quarter. And, it was almost like they knew, okay, these guys are not good enough to knock us over, so let's just put on 10 minutes of really great football, and that'll be enough to knock them over. In the end, they got away with it, and they won. But
I agree.
I'll jump in here, Aiden, and say that
I just think it's all upstairs, Aiden. I think the players are a little bit intimidated by Collingwood because they know that they've got our measure.
I'll jump.
With Essendon, I think we've probably got their measure more than the other way around lately.
I was going to say that too. Yeah. I think they've beaten us once in over 3 years or something, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's almost the same as the Collingwood, but reverse.
Aiden, I'll just say that if you grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, Collingwood were the team we wanted to beat. Whereas if you grew up, especially in the Sheedy years, there became a massive rivalry between Carlton and Essendon. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
because of the generational element there, then there is a hatred towards Essendon because
Yeah.
of that currently. But if you grew up earlier and
Yeah.
with the Richmonds and Collingwood, you have that kind of rivalry. But I think the whole Sheedy thing and the fact that we were both competitors at the time drove that rivalry at the time. So I think that's why there's this, more instinctive kind of hatred towards Essendon currently. And I think I certainly feel it to a certain degree because I've lived through it and despise those times. But you talk about the Fraser Brown incident, those kind of situations. All those people that lived through those days remember it so well. The Walker Mark, those types of things. Essendon has one of those situations, and I've got relatives that barrack for them. They had Terry Danaher down in Bridgetown during the week, for instance, and sent me all the photos of them and it's just one of those rivalries that gets my blood boiling, and you're going to have bragging rights afterwards. So I think that's why there's that kind of reason why the Collingwood has kind of laid by, gone past the Essendon rivalry a little bit, if that kind of makes sense to you.
And a lot of people, who have seen the 80s and 90s, like that era, a lot of people have said they hate Essendon more than Collingwood. I'm like, wow. But other than that, fuck both of them. I can't stand them.
Well, I'll tell you one of the things that I'll tell you one of the reasons. I'll tell you one of the reasons why that's the case. Because losing breeds hatred. And Essendon have caused some very significant blows to our confidence and they've had some significant wins when it really, really counts. And none more than the 1993 grand final.
My dad references
where they
that a lot.
belted us.
Yeah.
Right. Our revenge on that was the 1999 preliminary final where we beat them by a point when they were red-hot favourites to win. And we probably stopped them from winning that premiership that year, let's be honest. But it also provided them with a very significant motivation to win the following year, which they did. But also when Carlton was very, very successful in the 80s, the bogey team that we had at the time was Essendon. In fact, David Parkin, there was a time there where we were struggling to beat Essendon. You'll have seen some footage in the last couple of weeks since the passing of Neil Danaher of that game in 1981 where Carlton got to something like 26 points up at the start of the time-on period in the last quarter where Jimmy Buckley kicked this goal and all of a sudden they were celebrating, they were lifting him up on their shoulders and, it was almost like party time. And all of a sudden Essendon came back and Neil Danaher kicked 3 goals in time on and they ended up winning by a point. Now, that game there was a massive blow to our confidence because Carlton was successful. We were arrogant. I mean, we still ended up winning the premiership that year, but we still could not knock over Essendon. I don't know why, but as soon as Sheedy became the coach of Essendon, that's when the rivalry started with Carlton and Essendon. Before that, Essendon were a pretty mediocre team. The only time we'd had some real tussles against them was in the 60s. We lost the 62 premiership to them, but then we had our revenge in 68 where we finally broke a 21-year drought and we beat them for our first premiership for 21 years. And so there was a bit of rivalry in the 60s, but then in the 70s, Essendon was pretty ordinary. Carlton was very successful. But then in the 80s, that Parkin and Sheedy, and also when Walls took over, Walls versus Sheedy, that was also very spicy. Walls and Sheedy did not like each other at all. In fact, they quite often had spats on TV and stuff like that. So all of that sort of breeds that hatred of the other club. So there's a healthy respect, but we don't like each other.
Well, I've learned a lot from that. I didn't actually know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, and
the 93, and I'm telling you now, the 93 grand final was a bloody dagger in the heart for Carlton supporters.
Oh, it was the worst, man. To finish on top of the ladder and then be beaten by Essendon after we beat them in the first final.
Yeah.
It was so bad. And then to tell you the truth, in the prelim, I they were playing Adelaide. Remember
what,
Essendon were playing
99?
Adelaide?
The 99 prelim?
No, in the 93. In the 93,
Oh, the 93
they were
prelim.
playing Adelaide in the prelim. We were already in the grand
Yes.
final. We were up by,
Yes.
who knows, 1,000,000 points, right? And I fell asleep because I didn't go to that game, and because I had to work, and I was watching it, and I fell asleep. That's how confident I was, thinking we're going to play Adelaide in the grand final. And I woke up and Essendon and hit the front, and I had this feeling in my gut that this was not good. This
Me
was
too.
not good. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And we lost that grand
Yeah.
final, and then the 99 and all sorts of stuff happened. So, and I've noticed all the young kids like you, Aiden, and all the 25s and 30-year-olds all hate Essendon more than Collingwood. But the older guys hate Collingwood.
That's
like
different
I
with me.
hate Collingwood. Just that's it.
That's different with me. I hate Collingwood more than Essendon, but whenever we play Essendon, I don't know why. Like, it's not the same with Collingwood. Like with Essendon, I get like a very weird feeling. Like I go into that every game when we play, I go into it like very pessimistic. But like every time like we win, I go, oh yeah, fuck them, like good, like next Tuesdays and all that. But I don't know if it's because one side of my family go for Collingwood and the other go for Carlton. That's probably the reason why I hate Collingwood.
Yeah, that would do it.
Vince,
I hate Essendon though.
Vince, from your perspective,
Yes.
was it more tribal back in the 70s and 80s, or is it more tribal now, do you think, with the fan base? Are we more over the top, or back then? I mean, because it was just more of the VFL and was more, such a more contained kind of environment. What do you reckon? Do you think the fan base is more tribal now, or was it worse, better, call it what you will, back then?
Look, that's a good question. I would venture to say that it was more tribal then because, as you said, it was a VFL and we were 12 teams all based in Victoria, all based in Melbourne except for Geelong. So it was a lot more tribal. It was about, rivalries based on geography to a large extent. You had you had Fitzroy and Collingwood, who basically are separated by one street, Smith Street. One side of Smith Street's Fitzroy, the other side of Smith Street's Collingwood, and then of course you've got Fitzroy bordering with Carlton, and Carlton bordering with North Melbourne, and North Melbourne bordering with Essendon and Moonee Ponds and all that area. So it was all very geographical and very tribal from that point of view. And then, of course, it came down to who were the stronger teams that often competed with each other in finals series. So, like Essendon and Hawthorn before the 80s probably never had any rivalry whatsoever. But because they ended up playing 3 grand finals against each other in succession in 1983, 84, and 85, that created a lot of bitter rivalry.
Who did you say, Essendon and who?
Hawthorn.
Oh yeah, they can't. They hate each other. Fuck. If we're talking about hating each other, they fucking hate each other.
Yeah, but it stems back to the 80s, Aiden, and so I think it all comes down to who you end up playing a lot in the finals. And look, Carlton and Collingwood have played that many finals against each other, although, surprisingly enough, this goes to show you how deep that rivalry is, because I don't think any other rivalry would have continued for as long as ours has with Collingwood if it wasn't for the deep-seated feelings we had. We haven't played in a final against Collingwood since 1988 when we played a qualifying final against them.
Fuck.
That's 38 years ago.
Who won that?
And we haven't played a grand final against Collingwood for 45 years when we beat them in 1981.
Who won
but
that?
Still,
Carlton.
Despite not having played it, continues today. So I don't think the players, I think you're right about the players. I don't think they feel it anywhere near as much as what we do as supporters.
But I mean, to a point, I would hope that
I wish they did,
but
they still all gather. See, they all get together after a game. They have a chinwag and they laugh and they joke and they pat each other on the ass and all the rest of the bullshit. Mate, back in the 70s and 80s, it was
punches,
Mate, I remember a game at the MCG where David Rees-Jones was knocked out by Dennis. My God, did that create some fights in the stands? I don't know about you, Rocco. Were you there that day?
No,
Where
I wasn't there
was,
that day, but I
there
know,
was
I
not-
know
there was-
that was
there
with Banks,
massive
wasn't it?
fights going on there was massive punch-ons going on between Carlton and Collingwood supporters in the stands because of what Banks did to Rees-Jones. The irony is that Banks and Rees-Jones are actually now good mates.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, Banks absolutely knocked him out cold.
Yeah,
If you
100%. It
don't
was
know what I'm
definitely for
talking
me.
about, do a YouTube search on it, Aiden, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Put Dennis Banks, David Rees-Jones, Carlton versus Collingwood.
Yeah,
I think it
that
was
was a big
1988.
My dad showed me the Silvani one when he got knocked out, and he had
Yeah,
supporters
that was the other
wanting to
one.
actually jump on the field and knock whoever.
Yeah, that
knocked
was
him out.
Darren Milburn at Prince's Park in the year 2000. But
And Vince, what do you reckon? What would happen at the tribunal if that Burns incident happened today?
Fuck.
12 weeks.
If that happened to one of our
Lifetime
players,
Banks
ban?
incident,
Yeah, Banks. Sorry.
Banks incident. Yeah, look, in today's day and age, that would have got about probably 6 weeks.
15.
But if David Rees-Jones had gotten up and called him a poof, though, he would have been suspended for 10.
Exactly.
It was just a different. It was just a different game those days.
That's what happens in
It was just played
today's
differently
day
those days.
and age.
Just to go
You
to
get
your
more
point,
weeks for saying one word that offends somebody than you get for knocking someone into next week.
Yeah, no, it's just a different way the game was
But
played.
don't get me started.
just
I
to
love-
get to your point about how we haven't played Collingwood in a grand final for nearly 5 million years. We could have had the opportunity to in 2022 if we drew against them in that last
Yes.
game, and in 2023. If we had played them in that grand final, apparently a lot of Collingwood supporters were fucking shitting themselves and were hoping that we
they
didn't
hate
play them in the grand final
They,
because they were convinced that we probably
were.
would have
they
won
were.
that.
They were indeed.
Yeah,
And
100%.
fucking, there would have been riots, there would have been punch-ons and everything like that.
Do you know
I don't
why
care
they-
what any. I was going to say, I don't care what anyone says. Like people go, "Oh, the rivalry's not there," and that.
No, it's fucking
Collingwood and Carlton is still the biggest. I don't care Adelaide and Port Adelaide, whatever. Jam it up your ass. It means nothing. The West Coast, Fremantle, yeah, whatever. A bunch of little kids playing a game. You get Collingwood and Carlton into a final, and you will not be able to get anywhere near the ground. I'll tell you right now, it will be riots. It will be riots, mate. And that is amazing because, like you said, we haven't played a final since '88. And if we play a final, this city will be insane. It will be
imagine
insane.
forget a final, imagine a grand final.
So tonight,
A
Vince,
grand final, forget it. It will be the biggest game.
I won't watch.
If it's a Carlton Collingwood grand final,
Vince, what
I
were the
don't know.
stands like tonight? Were they
on
full?
his head, he'll have shaved his beard.
Your
What's that?
internet is right. I don't know what you're doing. Tell Tanya to pedal
Sorry?
faster because you're done. You're done. Yeah. It's bad. You're.
No, I'm not. I'm fine.
No, you're
No,
shocking, Vince.
no.
I can hear you.
Lagging.
So
I
Vince,
know you can
Vince,
hear us.
I'll come back. I'll come back.
All right, come back. Good one, Vince. You brought back some good memories. Petra Khan, member for 39 months. Thank you very much.
The thing is, Rocco, I think the reason why people, including myself, say, the Port Adelaide and Adelaide rivalry is that it's deep and it's serious because the players, they go in hard. They go in there to literally kill each other. Yeah, I feel like our players don't really. They just go there and think it's just they treat it like it's another game.
We're just, you know why? Because we haven't been good at it. We haven't been good. We don't do anything. They've been in us the last 11 out of 12 times or whatever. Like, we're just no good, you know what I mean? That's why the rivalry's not there. But it doesn't take much, Aiden. I'm telling you, you play in a final and you watch that rivalry will be back up again.
No,
Like,
I fucking no. I
So-
want to run
and
through.
even
brick
Essendon,
walls
you
talking
play
about
against,
it.
you play a final against Essendon and see what happens.
Yeah, like
So-
by Vince telling me a story time, and you as well. I want to fucking. I'm getting revved up. Like I want to run through my wall at the moment. Like, that's how pumped up I am.
I love it. I
So
love it.
Vince, tonight even was the crowd. I mean, it was their home game, I guess.
Yeah.
Was it? Tell us about the crowd. Were we vocal? Was it a 50-50 kind of mix?
I think it was more Essendon than it was Carlton. I think it was about a 60. I think it was about a 60-40.
What was the crowd?
Essendon. I think it was 76,000.
Not bad.
76,745 or something like that.
Well, there you go. Thank
there
you,
you go.
Oz.
Thanks,
Straight
Oz.
on to it.
Funny, I got that right on, spot on.
You did too. That's bad.
Anyway, because I remember looking at it when it came up on the scoreboard, and I thought, "Oh, wow, that's a pretty decent crowd for a Sunday night on a long weekend." I think the weather really helped. It was a beautiful night. There was not a breath of wind, no rain, very pleasant conditions. Actually, quite mild. It wasn't cold or anything like that. Even though it's now, we've headed into winter, so it was a perfect night. So there was no excuses not to be there if you happen to be in Melbourne. So it was a really good crowd, I thought. And Essendon, their first half got them up and about. When they had those 2 goals in a row in the second quarter, earlier in the second quarter, they started to really make some noise, and they were starting to get a bit excited. But I think it never really hit fever pitch at any stage. So I think a lot of that's because, even the Essendon supporters would have been excited but still nervous that they couldn't quite, get the job done. And I think they know their team well enough to know that they're going to make mistakes and they're going to probably let us back in, which they did in the second half. And, then they made that little late run where they got back to within 5 points, but there was only about 20 seconds left on the clock, I think. So, it was always going to require a clean clearance out of the middle and pretty much a mark inside 50 to give them any chance of winning with only 15, 20 seconds on the clock left.
They almost got the clearance too, because they did push
Almost.
the ball out. But
Yeah.
And I was saying, it's good for Carlton because it's a good way to learn, the last 10 seconds, get your wingers up on the square, get them up in the defensive, as soon as the ball bounce, run back, make sure Pitton taps the ball down to the ground, what I mean, and smother it, it's a good learning curve, so
in that last clearance, I was watching on telly, and to me it was like we had one player in the screenshot and they had 5, and I was like, what in God's name are we doing? It was like we were trying to give the way. That's what it appeared to me, that we had one player on the screen and they had 5, and I thought, we're going to get burnt here, and somehow we managed to get the win.
I think they went defensive. I think they went more defensive, so if they were going to get the ball, that's what I thought happened, but they ended up smothering the ball. They couldn't get through.
I was just going to say the Carlton players managed to sort of smother their attempts to clear the ball out of the middle and into the forward line. They desperately just needed to get any kick on the ball and send it forward into their forward 50 and hope that one of their players could take the mark, because if that didn't happen,
extra players.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day,
I'm going to head off, Rocco. But if I can say one thing, I hope we beat Collingwood. I can't fucking stand them. I hate them. But beating Essendon is just, bittersweet. Fuck Essendon. Fuck Collingwood. And that's it.
Thank you, Ray.
It's time to go!
I love his passion, and he's
I
absolutely
love him
right.
too. And
I think
the other rivalry that we never really touched on was the Carlton-Richmond rivalry, which was absolutely fever pitch back in the 60s and 70s. I mean, especially in the 70s, we had a really bitter rivalry with them. I mean, there was a few grand finals even where players got knocked out and players got hit, and I think it was the 73 grand final where the two teams had played it in 72, which we took it out in the highest scoring grand final ever.
And then Richmond took it out in 73.
And then the following year they were out for revenge, and part of their revenge was to knock a couple of Carlton players into the following season because blokes like Neil Baum and Laurie Fowler and these guys, they just did not take a step back. They just absolutely belted some Carlton players who, including John Nichols, who normally is a tower of strength, but they were never quite the same that day.
But I don't think since when did we play him in 1982? Yeah, so since then Richmond have been nowhere, and then when they won their 3 premierships, we were nowhere. So the rivalry kind of like fizzled out with Richmond. I've never felt that rivalry with Richmond. Like, if anything, they're probably 5th or 6th or 7th down. I think we got more rivalry with Geelong or another club than Richmond.
Since 82, where, you were probably only, 12? We weren't even a teenager yet. So 82 was probably the last of the grand finals of that era where the two teams played against each other. That was the game where the streaker came out onto the field, and
I remember
it was a great game and a great victory. That was the very first grand final I actually ever went to in person. But since 82, the only real finals we've had against them that I can recall is in 2013, where we we made the finals thanks to Essendon, getting disqualified and what have you, and we ended up beating Richmond in that very first elimination final on.
But the rivalry still didn't feel like it was a rivalry, even in that final. No. It wasn't just big, like it just, for me anyway. It's Collingwood, Essendon.
I'll tell you what I did learn about Richmond on that particular final in 2013. Is how much of a supporter base they've got. The noise was deafening when they came out onto the ground and they played the Richmond theme song that day in the elimination final. I just thought, wow, what a fan base they've got. They were just so loud.
Do you think there might be
with 4 goals?
Do you think there might be
Nick Duggan kicked 4? Yeah.
Do you think there might be a new rivalry brewing between us and St Kilda with the most recent changes to the teams, and to a lesser degree Sydney? But I feel there seems to be with the fan base a kind of deep-seated dislike now with the Lions situation with TDK and also with Silvani. There maybe not a rivalry, but definitely a dislike.
I'll put it to you this way, Dave.
A dislike for sure.
If players going from one club to the other created rivalries, that we would have seen that Carlton St Kilda rivalry hit fever pitch in 1980 when Alex Jezelenko had just finished captain coaching Carlton to a premiership in 79, and all of a sudden he's in St Kilda colours in 1980. If that didn't create a bitter rivalry, nothing would have. The reality is St Kilda was a terrible team. They were bottom of the ladder. Didn't matter that Jezza went there, and he's a Carlton favourite son, really. He's probably one of the top 5, best ever Carlton players ever to play the game. And he successfully coached us to a premiership as well. The last captain coach to ever do so in 79. So I don't think players leaving from one club to another actually creates the rivalries. I think it's more the actual teams that compete against each other when it really matters that creates rivalries. And I think, in recent years, I thought, even in the early 2000s, I thought that the Sydney and West Coast rivalry started to really brew. Remember when they had a couple of grand finals against each other? But even around that era, they had some fantastic games that always ended up being won by less than 10
20
points
games decided by like 4 points. It was crazy.
Yeah. So they're the sort of things that create rivalries. Now, I don't know if that rivalry still exists anymore. Probably doesn't, because West Coast have been pretty ordinary for the last 5 or 6 years. But that's what I think does it. And if you think about, Geelong
Rivalry.
and Hawthorn, I think Geelong and Hawthorn started having
Yeah,
a
they
bit
got
of
a
a rivalry around that Kennett curse and all that business.
No, they got a rivalry in '89 when the big grand final in '89. Look, rivalries come about in finals and in grand final.
Yeah.
With the Collingwood thing, you got to remember we beat them in every grand final that we ever played in, except for maybe one in the 30s or whatever happened. But
Do you know
and all those and the grand, you got to remember '79 with Wayne Harms tapping it in. That's huge.
Oh, that was massive.
That brings resentment for the rest of eternity.
They still haven't gotten over it.
And that's what I mean. And there's the rivalry, you know what I mean? And I think also Carlton Collingwood, as far as the suburbs go, at the time, next to each other and all that.
Carlton was seen to be the Silvertails, the more upper class team with all of the business people there, and politicians that supported Carlton, like Sir Robert Menzies, and he used to turn up there and have his big Bentley parked up on top of the hill there, and he could watch the game from his car, and so we were seen to be the sort of upper class, in a Melbourne suburb that was supported by a lot of the elites of Melbourne, if you like. Whereas Collingwood was that sort of working class, union employee type supporter base, with no teeth and no money, and the battlers of the inner Melbourne suburbs. So it was almost that sort of a rivalry. It was almost like an upper class versus lower class type thing.
Yeah. All right, listen,
and don't
guys.
forget, Collingwood have not beaten Carlton in a grand final since 1910.
Yeah, and they bet you to it, man.
There you go, Rocco.
Everyone's been saying it's in 1910, and that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, no, a few people said the 1910 since 1910. So that's a long way. Listen, we went from.
I guarantee there's no one alive today that remembers that grand final.
I don't think so, but we went from beating Essendon tonight to talking about rivalries in 1910. So that's where we went to. Look, I think it's time to go. It's almost 2:00. I'm tired. I want to get that. Oh, it's been a great emergency meeting. As I said, any win's a good win. Any win's a good win at the moment. We can build on this, and we're going to go into the GWS game in 2 weeks' time.
Give me a prediction, boys. Do we make the top 10 or do we not make the top 10?
I still think we don't. I still think we don't. I think there's some losses coming our way, but I think we might even out the ledger by or close to it by in a few weeks' time.
Do you see us after the bye beating GWS in Sydney, West Coast here in Melbourne, and Richmond here in Melbourne to even up the ledger 8 wins and 8 losses?
I don't know.
That means 7 in a row to Josh Fraser. And at round 16, and basically after 16 games, we're 8-8, requiring probably 2 more wins, maybe 3.
I doubt 2. I reckon you're going to still need
3 more wins in the last. 3 more wins in the last 7 games.
Yeah, and the thing is that first of all, I think GWS is going to be tough to beat. Over there is going to be tough. That's going to be if you beat GWS, you're going pretty well. Right, so and then after that, I'm pretty sure we got teams like Collingwood and Hawthorn. I don't know, but there's going to be some tough.
I think we can do it. I actually do believe we're going to do it. I think we're going to make it.
I'm heading to China. My daughter's playing in an NBA tournament over in China, and if she wins that,
fantastic.
all bets are off. So I'm focusing on that as my major priority. And
I wouldn't blame you. I mean, geez, if my daughter was going to China to play in a competition like that, I'd be going too. But
thanks,
well, good luck to her, by the way, Dave.
Yeah, good luck.
And good luck to you.
Yeah, thank God.
So we'll see what happens. We've got to buy this week. Yeah.
By the way, I see Carlton taking a couple of big scalps on the way home. I really believe that some of those home games, especially at Marvel Stadium, against teams such as even the Brisbane Lions, even Western Bulldogs and St Kilda, we've got to play again. I don't see any reason why we can't take a scalp like that. We don't play Sydney again. We play Fremantle in the last game in the last round. So that game against the top team on the ladder, it could end up determining whether we make it or not.
But Vince, similar tonight, but you can't take the games that we consider easy games complacently. So if we have the West Coast, we need to win those games.
Yeah.
And same as tonight, we can't take these games.
But I think that's what they will do. This break. The other thing is, of course, don't underestimate the psychological thing within the players tonight of, hey, let's roll Essendon over. It shouldn't be too hard. Let's get over this game and then we can all go for a break. We all need a rest. We all need a bit of sun and whatever. That probably would have played on them as well. Mentally, they did not look tuned in and really focused on what they should be doing in that first half. And I think, if anything, that halftime break came at a good time for Josh Fraser to say, come on, boys, we've got a half a game to go here before we have this break. Let's start doing the things that we know we need to do. He probably would have turned to Cripper and said, Cripper, we need more out of you, mate. And he produced. So,
and that's what was and that's what I got out of tonight's game. I like that. I like that they stood up when they needed to. Are they going to keep doing it? Who knows? Who knows?
We don't know, but I think winning is a habit as well, and we're starting to develop that sort of winning habit. And tonight's game, I think,
was important.
I can't remember whether Dave said it or whether Aiden said it. If that had been Boss coaching, we probably would have. And we were 1-8. We probably would have dropped that game.
Yep, I agree. And so we'll see how we go. But the break, I think, comes along good. At least we can go into the break with 4 wins, with a win. And we feel good about each other.
Yep.
Feel good about, like where we're at. And then we come up against GWS and we see where we're at. And I think that's the last interstate game, isn't it?
That is the last interstate game for the year. So that's another thing. We play all of our games in Melbourne.
Yep.
After that, either at Marvel. Predominantly, most of the games are at Marvel. And there's still 1 or 2 at the MCG. I think Hawthorn we play at the MCG in Richmond. So I think, even the draw is sort of working out well for us. For the last part. We're now in. By the way, we've gone up. We've gone up again in the ladder to 13th position at the moment.
Slowly climbing. So all we've got to do is we just got to keep winning games, man, and we'll see where we're at.
And if we don't lose another game for the whole rest of the season, we win the flag, don't we?
That's exactly right. That's what we're going to do.
That's one way to look at it.
Listen, there's a few.
Now, don't forget Blue Sundays on tonight.
Yeah, if you let me do it, I would have got to it. If you just let me get to it, I'll get to it.
I love doing that to Rocco Davey. He gets pissed off every time.
You do it to everybody. All right. Tomorrow night you've got Blue Sunday, which is on the Monday. So tomorrow night you're going to be joined by Vince, and tomorrow will be Seba and David Rees-Jones, and I think Bo Chicks will be joining you too.
Bo is taking Joe's spot because Joe's over in America for the World Cup, but Joe is going to try as best he can to make an appearance at least.
Yeah, see how he goes. That's not
Don't
important.
Forget Breakfast with the Blues, the highest rating radio station.
Yes, the Blues, Breakfast with the Blues also. So if you want to get onto that, and and they do a great show every Saturday. And if you go onto is it Spotify and all that, you on that?
Yeah,
just Google it, you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find it. And then back to Tuesday with us, and Wednesday and all that, and all the shows will be going on this week. So that's it. Thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a long day.
Dave, you're a champ, mate. Thanks for joining us.
And
great show, guys.
Yeah, it's been good. As I said, enjoy it. at least now 2 weeks. We imagine losing to Essendon now. Now you're going to go for 2 weeks, and you would have been like feeling like shit. At least we can feel half decent about
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
and I can give it to Mark on Wednesday, which also
4 in a
makes
row.
me feel good. And 4 in a row, and we're on fire. So all good. Thanks for
all we need tomorrow, just to put a little cherry on top of the cake, is for Melbourne to beat Collingwood by a point, and I'll be wrapped.
Yep, and I'm sure there's a big chance of that.
Anything more than a point is a bonus, but I'd love it to be a point because there's nothing better than beating Collingwood by a point.
No, it's going to be good. So that'll be a good game tomorrow. Everyone enjoy your day off
Be
tomorrow.
a great occasion for Neil Danaher, of course, with his sad passing a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
So, no doubt. I've got to tell you, by the way, tonight there was a light show done. I don't know if you saw that on TV or not, but there was this big light show that they did with everyone holding up their cameras on their phones and whatever, and they did a brilliant job. And I can see this game being, quite a big fixture going forward. If we can hold this regular fixture of Carlton and Essendon on King's Birthday Eve, I think it's going to be as good as what Richmond and Melbourne do for Anzac Day Eve. So,
100%.
Pretty special moment. And no doubt tomorrow, the day game with Collingwood and Melbourne will be a really unique occasion. So,
you know what I want? I want to actually finish the show without you starting a new story, right? Because I've been trying to finish for the last 10 minutes, all right?
No.
And you bring up nothing else.
We've got 6 minutes to go until 2 o'clock.
No, we haven't got 6 minutes to go. We've got 6 minutes now. So everyone,
right.
Thank you for joining us. Love you all, and make sure you join Blue Sunday tomorrow, and we'll all see you on Tuesday.
And don't forget, I was brought to you by umpire Nick Foote tonight.
Done.
Good on you, Nick.
See you, mate.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.
For him and himself and everybody around, 'cause he ain't got nobody.